So I guess we can go ahead and just get started. Go ahead and get started. So this week's factspiration question. The factspiration question is, what was one new experience that you tried that was completely unknown or uncomfortable to? So I'll post that in the chat. While you ruminate on that, anyone can roll a d20 into chat to declare their intentions of earning a third hero point. I've heard these things are pretty good, so if you'd like to earn a hero point for this session, go ahead and roll a die into chat to give us a recap of what happened last week. Everyone, your hero points from last week are destroyed, but then 2 new ones appear in their place, along with 2 new hero cards. If no one is feeling up to it this morning, to give the recap, I can go ahead and do it. Just give it a couple.
Still loading in. I would roll, but I'm just not there.
All right, I'll roll for you. Versus Vultures 12. You got an 8.
Well,
okay. Going once, going twice. All right, sold the Vulture for 8.
Now that I think about it, I don't know why I'm rolling.
What do you...
You won. It is yours.
No, because I just thought of something, and yeah.
So you're about to spend it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fool. You fool. Oh, well.
Well, no one else rolled, so I was going to
Too
go
itchy
late
up.
anyway.
Too itchy on the trigger finger. Too itchy on the trigger finger. All right, what do you got?
So, last time on Outlaws of Alkenstar, we're still in this godforsaken junkyard trying to find our way out of here so we can make it to Phoebe's bar. We found ourselves dealing with some whatchamacallit, poltergeist, ghosts, whatever it was that was haunting a engine from a scrapped airship. We didn't exactly fare well with that one. It was belching smoke at us, shooting hot gears and sprockets. Practically everyone went down, except for Mother Ketrin, who was able to get us out of that hot mess, so we can kind of reformulate ourselves. As we try to put our coconuts together to figure out a way past this thing, the sun rose, and it seemed to have silenced the machine, so we were able to get by it safely, thankfully. As we kind of made our way through the hull of that broken ship, we could hear the cackles and laughter of Knowles on the other side. There was some crazy idea to shoot this thing off, the airship off like a rocket, but that would have been bad. So we all came to the decision that we were just going to burst down the door and start firing, and we did that. Took out a few Knowles, but that drew the
fight?
ire.
Oh, okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, keep going, keep going.
That drew the ire of one big old Knoll named Bristlebane, I think. And she started wrecking shop, though we were able to take out the majority of her forces. And then she pulled out a big old whip and brought me over and almost snapped me in two. Right now, I'm just thinking if this is it.
Okay, beautiful. You did leave out the mid-combat romance that was developing, but that's okay. That's okay. I think you had other things to think about. So, well done. Go ahead and take a third hero point and a third hero point card. Maybe it's the card that reads heroic comeback, stand up with all your hit points. I haven't actually read any of these cards, so I don't know what is in store for you guys on these hero cards. I can't convince my DM to use them, so. But if you have time after the session, I have a petition set up on petition.org. If anybody would like to earn a factspiration, a D3 that they can add after the fact to one of their rolls, roll a D20 in the chat so you can answer this question of what was one new experience you tried that was completely unknown and uncomfortable to you at the time that you tried it. Going once. Going twice. Oh. Oh. Okay, some dice are showing up. Alright, stack the deck with a 6. Going once. Going twice. Alright. Stack the deck. Answer the question.
I have to say, tall ladies.
Alright. Fair enough. I don't think it asks why or how, so we can just kind of leave it at tall ladies. Let's see. You may ask the same question of any NPC you've met previously in the campaign. I will give you a spoiler. Ambrose Muglin has the same answer.
Does anyone have any suggestions? Let's see.
It's whatever
How
floats your
about?
fancy.
All right, boots.
Boots. Oh man. All right. So, yeah. Boots. He sits down in the interview chair and he looks at the camera crew and he says, "Okay, uncomfortable situation. Something new. Yeah. I tried vegan the other day. And they just screamed so loud while going down. And one of them, and he put. They have it. All right. So, with all that out of the way, we'll head on over to our favorite place, our only place in Alkenstar, the Whaling Scrapyard, where children become dead. I mean, become men and women. Where heroes are tested.
We're just gonna take over this junkyard. It's gonna become the entire campaign.
It'll never leave.
Ooh, not the most exciting campaign. Not the most exciting campaign. All right, let's see. All that's left is you got one boss lady near death. Why did we even stop last week? That's just
Why?
silly.
Wait, why is she scaled down? I thought she was.
Yeah, she should be big. There may have been an update. So, let me see. I can just enlarge her again. So.
Does your auto update? Because mine sure doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know why she's not. She doesn't have any status effects at all on her. Oh, you know what? Maybe the timer didn't get paused and it ran down her effect. That could
Yeah,
be
because
bad.
all my stats effects are gone too.
Oh, that might have been what happened. I might have. I don't know. I'm sorry. Hopefully the fight will be over soon. All right. Let's see. Let me change the music. All right. Nice relaxing music, and we end the round going into round 6. All right. Sludge Spine Killer is Dead Zoes, and without succeeded to cost table to bring him back to life. I think he's really dead for reals. All right. Gert is up. He's mastering his fear. Whoever was mean to him, he will remember that. The person that was mean to him, discretion, you're up.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, I have to stand up from phone.
Okay.
Right, okay. No finesse. Unfortunately, can't tumble. Catch it. Aha! But I can go here, and then tumble through that square to here. Or do we have to go around the corners?
In the case of this tent, since the tent has not been destroyed and she's kind of there, yeah, I would definitely say you're going to be tumbling through, like, I'd allow it. Yeah, I'd allow it since it's just a tent.
Aha!
All right, success.
So remember, they don't actually need to bully people to get panache. They can also tumble through enemies. In other words, it's been completely unnecessary every time I've
All right.
bullied a random person.
She stands over your ally, ready to snap him in half. on the other side, a love-struck bunny rabbit stares up at her with wonder in his eyes.
Well, I'm gonna use a confident finisher because I'm confident
Okay.
that I have this. Means that if I miss, I still do D6 or something.
Okay.
Oh.
well,
Oh,
I
you didn't miss. All right.
So, a little bit of damage.
So,
That's probably
well, it feels like a lot of damage until we started playing with guns. But now, yes, it's a little bit of damage. How do you finish her off?
Well, I was pretty confident about this, so I think that I'll just leap up and go for the jugular.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Chow down.
All right, as you jam your claws into her throat, tearing out her entire esophagus, which you wave around in your hand like a fucking club, blood sprays everywhere. All over. Yeah, everywhere. All over Stack and all over Vulture. Vulture, I need you to save against hepatitis A, B, and C. Actually, those are in the game, so don't actually do that saving throw. All right. It's all just flavor. Anything else from discretion?
That was 3 actions.
Okay. Play passes to Vulture. All right, Vulture. Big decision here. Big decision. Well, no, you get to make the roll, but if you don't make it, then you're gonna burn the points. Is that? Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. You spend it when your dying condition would increase.
Okay, so you'll either make this roll or have no hero points or hero cards for the entire session.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Oh, okay. It's a good thing that you had to walk your dog to the trash last week, or this
Yep.
would have that would have been the end of your character. God damn.
So
Okay.
I take those hero points and I dump them all in the trash.
Okay. You see a small chibi version of Vulture appear. It's carrying 3 cool-looking cards. They set them down in a pile. They throw oil on them and they light them on fire. With a shuddering gasp, Vulture seems to self-stabilize, like heroes do.
I
All
don't
right.
feel very heroic.
Does anybody else have anything terrible happening to them? If not, we can leave initiative.
Isn't there a guy right next to me?
Oh,
Meleeing, possibly.
absolutely. Absolutely. They get sprayed with non-damaging acid because it was flavor, but you definitely stuck your hands right up in it. So,
Oh, yeah.
Here's your Weeping Wounds roll. Not too bad. Worst it could be is 2 points of acid damage. I guess it is bad when you can't just short rest and get all your hit points back. Alright, so you don't take any damage, and your turn ends, Vulture's turn ends, Bristlebane is ended. Ketrin, to you. Ketrin, you hear somebody in this tent, kind of like murmuring and struggling.
And you hear a small voice from the hull of the ship yell, "There's still one more!"
Yeah, that's a long
Okay.
way to go, dwarf. That's a long way to go.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Also, this large creature's body is difficult terrain on the map.
But my ally is not difficult
Correct,
terrain.
but your ally is not. Yep. Because the people at Paizo, they taped out a 5-foot square, and they were like, "It's actually kind of big, guys. Maybe we could move past each other."
Damn.
But then their love
So
of
close.
math made them hate diagonals. So, all right.
All right.
So
I'm
one,
gonna-
that's 2, and then
I'm gonna raise my shield,
all right, beautiful.
and I will taunt this non-mechanically taunt this guy.
Okay. All right. Actually, you could mechanically taunt him instead of raising your shield if you were so inclined. But raising your shield is fine too.
I will raise my shield.
All right. Sludge Spine Killer. It sees the boss is dead, but its mind, long addled by violence and arcane mutation, it seeks nothing but violence. If its options are a beefy man with a mustache holding a shield or a little bald man, it's gonna go for the little bald man.
There.
All right. So you are
Just a little
still
snack.
you are still frightened from before.
That is
I
correct.
see.
Frightened 2.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe I'd have frightened 1 by now because I did have a turn where
Yeah,
I was. Oh wait,
it's
I
down
had 1.
it's down to frightened 1.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. What can it do on its own to try and mess you up some more? We'll see. You're already frightened. Grappling will use its thing. I think it's just gonna go ham since you're already frightened. It will just try
Fair.
and attack you 3 times.
All right.
All right, here we go. It's gonna try and Jaws
Mm-hmm.
and El Mary hoping for that natty 20.
And
Aw.
Okay.
All right.
So
Can
a
I-
total
can-
of
I
9
wanna-
Oh
damage.
yeah, you could definitely do your reaction. Ketchum.
yeah, I'll do my reaction on the second one.
Okay.
So that takes off how much?
Resistance 2 plus my level, so 3. It takes off 3 damage.
Cool. Thank you. So I get a total of 6 damage.
6 damage. All right, that is the creature's turn. Stack to you.
All right. Like 10 feet off the ground for some reason. I stand
Oh yeah,
up.
she had lifted you up. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I go over here, tumble through this body, and try to take out this last Spudge Spine killer.
Okay.
Action.
It seems to be lost in the bliss of potential violence, biting into Bellinora the Savvy. All right, as you swipe at it, you hit. Ooh, max damage. And how do you finish this last one off? As
Oh,
it
I think
sprays
he-
acid blood on you.
He kind of like just does like the simple like thrust into like his like heart and like withdraws the rapier like and swipes off the blood and like with a flourish.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give me a reflex save. Ooh. Okay. So, and take 1 point of acid damage for your troubles. It collapses to the ground, and unless anyone else has anything dangerous going on, they're bleeding, they're on fire, they're dying, we can go ahead and end initiative. All right. Lovely.
May I be unfrightened now?
Yeah. Mechanically.
I mean, we still have a sewer to go through. I'm sure that will have some fresh help.
All right. Out of combat, you guys get a better sense of the camp. I could refresh your information about it. Tattered and worn tents made of humanoid leather stand against the southern and western walls of scrap. A fire pit sits between the tents, and impaled over a crude spit is the carcass of maybe a large charred rat. The path through the scrap there is the smell of rot and death and fear and wet dog hanging in the air, and you hear muffled shouts, possibly for help, coming from this tent over here.
I would like to scuttle over to it, and I want to, like, nudge my head underneath the tent, so I'm poking my head out from underneath the
Oh, okay,
tent.
okay.
Could I? Hey, little guy.
Oh man, so he gets pretty panicked when he sees a dragon poking its head. He tries to roll away from you. You see that he is roughly bound in a combination of old soiled hempen rope and barbed wire. And there are filthy oiled rags stuffed in his massive Pac-Man frog goblin mouth. And those are in
Tied.
turn tied up. Yeah.
Tied you up with barbed wire? That's messed up.
He lets out a sad kind of.
Is that a yes or a... I don't know. It doesn't matter. I will get you out of here.
Okay.
I
So
actually have thieves' tools. Oh,
yeah,
anything
I
like
would
that,
say
but
thievery or crafting would be the best route to try to get him out of the barbed wire without harming him.
I have thievery. I just don't have thieves' tools.
Mm.
This is
You can
up
use
there,
anything as an.
casino.
You can use. I don't know who I'm getting a big echo off of, but it's really bad. The tools can be improvised in this system, but they will be at -2. So if you can bamboozle me to believe that you have something else that might work, you can use that. So in the case of the barbed wire, if you had something like snips or something like that you think could cut through the wire, that might be able to work.
While they're doing this, I treat
Yeah,
wounds
yeah.
on Vulture.
Beautiful.
Vulture, you can remove your wounded condition. That is part of it.
Thank you, Mother Ketrin.
I could perhaps offer you some aid on the crafting aspect of freeing them.
But they have to be tied up, right? Like, so there's like knots in some degree.
Yeah. I mean, he is tied up as well.
So I'll attempt to untie the knots. I'm really paranoid that I'm echoing now. Am I echoing? Someone else talk while I'm talking.
I'm talking.
Am I echoing?
Yeah, it's a little bit of echo on your end, I think.
Okay.
It might be. There could have been any sort of update, and your input might have switched on Discord. Sometimes that happens. Yeah. Be enough to kind of pry him out or get him out of these the bondage he's in. It's not even enough to kind of untie the hard, mean knot that is holding the soiled rags in his mouth.
Could I perhaps try to approach this from the crafting side of things?
Yep, a crafting check can be used. It's gonna be a DC 15.
Second crafting.
All right, so you got a 13. So yeah, the you see that the barbed wire is digging into his flesh, and in places you're pretty sure he's got the tetanus.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
All right, as he looks around through his blood and muck's stained goggles, he sees Vulture, and his whole demeanor changes a little bit as he tries to wriggle back and forth to free himself.
Yeah.
Only causing himself more suffering.
Hey, watch it.
It's like good wiggling or bad wiggling, I ask you, Robin. Don't understand that either.
What kind of check was it? It's either thievery
It is
or
crafting or thievery.
They really got him in there.
Sorry, I thought it'd be under the actions. Thievery. Yep. I'll do that.
All right, there you go. So you pull out the appropriate tools from your thieves' tools, I
Yeah.
guess. Do you have thieves' tools?
I want him to like Inspector Gadget, you know, like.
And you snip, 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 and then
Oh no, I was gonna. I think that's a later thing that automatons can do. I think
yeah,
can-
they can
That's
literally install tools, give themselves you could hollow out your abs and put a soda cooler in there. Just a random idea. I don't know.
So you can have your monster on the go.
Yeah, that's something to think about. All right, as he's freed, he spits out the rags and he says, hold on. Thank you, Vulture. Fancy running into you here. Wait,
What business you got here? You didn't come looking for little old me, did ya?
Well, I did when I heard that you were taken. I heard when you were taken earlier. But
Yeah.
you're also passing by because we're trying to get out of this junkyard.
Oh. All right. Well, there's some goblins to the south and an entrance there.
Yeah, they told us about that, but that's where we came from. We had to rob a bank.
Robbing a bank. I heard you'd gone crime, but I didn't believe the rumors.
It's a long story. How about we get you out of this tent?
Yeah.
And so you kind of help him to his feet, and he stumbles out. He has been forced to poop his pants a couple of times, and he's very stinky. However, he bears it with no shame, happy to be alive. He looks up at the morning sky, laying in the muck and the mud of the scrapyard. He lets out a contented sigh of freedom.
Well, it's a good thing I don't actually have a nose. Out of character, you guys want to spend some time healing, or we decide to move
Definitely. And we should search this place.
on? Okay. So while that's going on, Vulture's gonna fill him in on pretty much everything from the desert up until now. Well, actually,
Okay.
no, even before that, the whole setup of him and Sid and why Muglin has fucked us over.
Okay. He is very upset to hear about Sid. He has also been on the run because he has a mutual acquaintance named Vashon Gattleby, who you guys might have heard from the papers, almost blew up the entire Arcane Academy. And he has been trying his best to reach out to Gashon, but people started following him, and he was suspicious they were after him, so he has been hiding in the sewers. He came to the scrapyard looking for materials that he might use to replenish his bombs and reagents. You know how it is, alchemist life kind of thing.
Never have enough reagents.
But he bit off more than he can chew. He also cautions that the sewers are a labyrinthian horror show, and that he was not planning to go back in. He was just going to try his luck on the streets. Maybe take advantage of people's passive racism and disguise himself as a nondescript goblin citizen.
We have a idea of how to navigate the sewers. Phoebe left signs.
Which of you, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, I mean it in a loving way, which of you is the party mule, so I know who to be just throwing equipment onto? It should be someone with a high bulk capacity, or who has the bag of holding.
I don't wear armor, so
Okay.
I don't have a huge amount of strength.
The
I have
third
to-
qualifier
I
is a
have the
person
bag
who
of
doesn't
holding.
mind accounting duties.
Fuck.
I
Nope.
could do it
Nope.
because I carry very light. I'm like at one
Okay.
bulk. With all the stuff
Alright.
that I have, I'm at one bulk.
Then
I'm
for
happy-
now, I will move loot to Vulture.
I'd be happy to keep track of it, but I'm not going to carry it.
Alright. Okay, so, because video games, each of the baby sludge spines was carrying 12 silver pieces on their person. So I believe there were six of those guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 of those guys. So 5, 50, 60? There you go. 60 silver pieces. Some might call that gold, but you have to put down silver because this game we're playing it raw-ish, but as raw as we can. Looking through the tents, you find personal effects and jewelry worth about 20 gold. You imagine that these are from their victims. So, you know, gold tooth, little cracked monocle that might still be worth some money. So it's essentially miscellaneous jewelry worth 20 gold pieces. In this instance, just put down 20 gold pieces because that'd be easier. And then, oh wait, hold on. They actually have an item for it in the item cache for this location. Goddamn, I feel like I'm at a goddamn resort sometimes. All right, I'll drag it onto your miniature, and now you have it. Wow. Give me a second to compose myself. All right, on Bristlebane, you find. Oh, there's also a ton of bolas. So I'm gonna drop these bolas on there. Add 5 more to that vulture. She has very cool looking. If you want to look like you're attending like Burning Man or something, Burning Man Renaissance Festival. She has edgelord leather armor. She had an elixir of life, which honestly I don't think a D6 would have helped her in that fight. She had her money, 2 gold pieces. She had a +1 whip. So, tutorial menu pops up. What if nobody uses a whip? Okay, there is a process called properties on it, and you're like, no one uses that fucking item. You could either use your own crafting skill if you have the craft magical item feat, or you can find a merchant to do it. They can transfer the enchantment to the rune, and then that rune can then be placed on another item. So you guys can actually shuffle item enchantments around to get the absolute correct gear for your aesthetic or build. Oh. But for now, it is a +1 whip. The cost of that, I can never remember the actual one. I have to look it up. I think it's like 1/10. Okay.
It's 1/10 if it's item to item, and it's free if it's rune to item.
There you go. So, and then I believe a rune can count as an item. So if you don't know what to do with it, but you know that you're not going to use the weapon, you could just transfer it to a rune and then save it for a rainy day.
I think you can just buy a blank rune for like a silver or something.
Yeah. So, the value of the runes varies. This is a +1, so it's a precision rune. So it would give you a +1 to your attacks. Unlike D&D, they don't do attack and damage. It's far sexier. There is a type of property called striking, where you just add another damage die to the weapon. Yeah. So, like, the stronger the striking rune is, the more damage dice you roll. It's almost like scaling cantrip damage, but on a weapon. It's very cool. So anyways, she had a whip +1, so I'll add that to your sheet. And she has a crude map of the Alkenstar sewers. This map, if you successfully decipher it and read it, will allow you to navigate the sewers in relative safety. Asterisk. All right. All right.
Like how these gnolls were completely unaffected from their time in the sewers.
Because they had the map, sir. Because they had the map.
Mutated.
Also, they went out into the wilds and hunted and everything, and they were still doing good. That's because they're very good at sleeping, and that you let them sleep for 2 whole minutes, and they got all that. Listen, you're in a video game, okay? I don't know what to tell you. All right. So, with all that settled, it sounds like you guys want to put in some rest.
I have spent 20 minutes thus far treating
okay.
wounds on Vulture and Discretion. How long did searching the camp take?
I would say that the ones that you were not healing would have searched the camp during that time.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So
It's not
20 minutes.
it's not a huge camp.
Stack.
Sure.
I mean, if you want not risky surgery, just regular
No,
surgery, that's fine
go.
too.
No, we can take the
Okay.
risky one.
Okay.
His name isn't Stack the Deck for nothing.
Oh, fair enough.
Hmm.
Honestly, it's really only risky if a person is dying and you use it on them. Like almost all the time.
I did just I did just damage discretion further, so
Yeah, that's true.
there you go, Stack. You're healed now.
Jesus
It would
Christ.
be risky if they're dying 3 because after you successfully treat wounds, you'll remove wounded anyway.
Yeah. It's a very good feat. It's a very good feat. Okay. So
We
yeah.
can't keep going north. We can't.
So around the bend is more scrapyard. I just have it portioned out with like walls and stuff like that to make it feel like the size that it's described in the adventure versus the size that you have on this compact map. So, in the same manner that the goblin camp that you see is their like forward camp, but then they live in like warrens that they've dug like under the scrapyard kind of thing. It's to kind of create like a sense that there's more to it than the map shows. Yeah.
I am also. I feel bad for discretion, so I'm going to risk laying on hands.
Okay.
Maybe Gert should
Hold-
step away a bit.
Hold on. Hold on.
All right. It's only a 15. It's only a
Everyone
50%.
leave.
15% chance. It's only 15% chance.
Hey, I feel
Gert,
this is
you
more risky
You
than
don't want to
risky
be right there,
surgery.
Gert.
Lay it on me.
Gert says, and he starts running away.
Okay,
All right, it's fine.
That's fine.
He says,
All right.
Hey, are you licensed for that?
No, Ketrin, you are a licensed spellcaster on file with the government.
Okay. There you go. Have your 6. Better than nothing.
Hey. Thank
Like,
you.
looking over the edge of the crate, like nervously at this as if it's like a grenade.
I mean, it could be way worse than a grenade. There's
I'm
a
gonna
reason,
glare
yeah.
at you all and say, it's fine. I know what I'm doing.
Standing next to solid objects is not as safe as you might think.
Right. God forbid you get bisected.
Yeah, as the camera cuts back to that horrible bisection.
There's just a blood stain on the kitchen.
All right.
I'm gonna look around. Anybody else want healing? Bella?
Yes, please.
All right. So
Okay.
2 hours from now, you can cast spells as much as you want, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Wild surges.
Just shooting the firebolts up into the air like fireworks.
Now that's noteworthy because even though this is a pretty shitty side of town, there are licensed spellcasters and illegal spellcasters who take advantage of that stability, and they do have facilities on this side of town for research and things like that. Also, if something did go wrong, it's just going to blow up poor people, so an acceptable loss. Welcome to capitalism. I know it's strange to you guys, but
Is this side of town safer for magic than the other, or is it? Just...
yeah, Smokeside is a lower chance of wild surges than Skyside. They say that is because Skyside utilizes a lot more magic in its construction practices. So it has kind of an underlying kind of aura or weave, if this was D&D, of magic. Because they've got them sweet skyscrapers and all that, all those stuff that, they might have cheated a little bit, used some reinforced steel here and there, summoned some elementals, fused them into the foundations of the buildings, the normal stuff in Pathfinder.
For some reason, I absolutely cannot heal myself.
Aw. All right.
I'm gonna lay on hands myself. It's fine. I'll risk it.
It's
I'll
happening
risk it.
again! Hit the deck!
Oh, you took that damage. All
Yeah, I
right.
took it,
All right. All right. Good. All right. As you say that, Gert stumbles away with his poopy pants. Oh no. Okay. All right. It's fine. We're all gonna be fine. You got 3, 2, 1 to move your mini. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's see what happens. Go ahead and give me a D100, Ketrin. All right. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure
Here's
it's fine.
something good. Maybe we get loads of money.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, great news. Empowerment overload. the spell you just cast is treated as being cast with a slot 4 levels higher, maximum level 10. So is
Wow.
there? But that's I don't think you can upcast that, unfortunately.
Lay on hands. Yeah, you can.
Is there a way? Okay, what happens to lay on hands when it's level 5? That's what we need.
Just becomes flat, more damage. 6
Oh,
HP
okay.
per
Probably
level.
pretty safe to say she's at full health.
Okay, good. That is
Do
great.
30 health.
30 health, fantastic. You feel the power of God just like surge through you. Oh, you kind of lift off the ground. Your eyes begin to glow. It's fucking amazing.
Turning Super Saiyan.
D10, 4d10 plus the original level of the spell, force damage. So if you weren't casting a healing spell just now, that could have been really bad for you. So you actually overcharge the spell so much that there is an explosion that deals 26 points of damage to you. So you heal for 30, but then you take 26 force damage as the magic is too powerful, too uncontrolled, and explodes out of your body.
So
So you would have been up full, but then you would have taken 26. Oh no, that is enough to drop you to 0. Damn. All right.
I mean, really, it's like 4 healing because it's 30 healing, but 26 damage.
Yeah, but the healing happens first, and then the yeah.
fine.
All right, so you guys watch as she is just knit together with the power of God and hovers above the ground like an anime Jesus, and then there's an explosion. Their body convulses and falls limp to the ground. They are dying.
Oh shit.
They will be last in the initiative since they killed themselves. So you may all take a turn to try and stabilize them.
I'll just supply
We
a
just-
little potion.
Oh, you're just gonna do a potion?
Just got
Okay.
one.
All right.
I'll
All right. So
use
somebody wants
this.
to burn a potion.
Can have 5 heals.
All right. So Ketron, at the end of the day, you are healed for 5.
God damn.
I really need to stop treating myself, guys.
Lee.
Hey, Catrin, next time, I got you.
All right. You say that, but in the delirium of pain, 2 beings, possibly an angel and a devil, appear on your shoulder, advising you for next time.
Well done.
Do they have
Goddamn.
anything going on in
I-
these tents, or?
Look
You guys
over at-
already searched the tent. If you want more details of the cannibal lifestyle, I do have descriptions that I can share with you.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'll help catch them back to their feet.
I look over at Gert, and this is why magic can never be trusted.
Casting that just to get rid of my focus point. Already happened.
Okay, so inside is a macabre and unsettling sight, even for seasoned adventurers, of which you are not. This primarily large femurs and ribs, which are lashed together with dried and treated tendons and strips of human leather. The bones provide structural support and are a grim reminder of the gnoll's cannibalistic tendencies. There are baskets of bones, jars of teeth, just all sorts of things that these gnolls felt was fun and interesting to keep. It seems that they made a habit of keeping the beefier bones to snack on and suck the marrow from later on. Fun nature fact, in the real world, hyenas have the strongest jaw strength of any mammal. And their bites can, in fact, break your thigh bone. Yeah. Also, fun hyena facts. In Ice Age times, they were the size of short buses. And it is said that Ice Age hyenas are why it took humans so long to get to North America, because they patrolled and guarded the ice bridge that led to Alaska.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, fun times. Fun
The
times.
barbarian tribe that fought them would have been so cool.
Right? Yeah.
Gonna write
Not
that
not
shit-
to not to plug my friend Lauren's project, but Lauren is working on an Ice Age, a grimmer Ice Age D&D setting. So,
I was gonna be
yeah.
using the Savage Plains thing that came out recently.
Intrigued.
yeah, I have the Paleonic or whatever the hell it is. That's more like high fantasy dinosaur times. That I picked up because I'm used to be addicted to Kickstarter. So even to this day, I receive things from Kickstarter because of, the pandemic and the shipping stuff. And yeah, I'll just randomly get stuff and I'll be like, I don't remember ordering this. Oh, well. Yeah. Anyways, Cadbury eggs and Kickstarter. That's what got me through the Pando and Animal Crossing. So, all right. You guys feel that you've done a thorough search of the grisly and terrible thing. You know in your heart that if there was an alignment system being tracked by your DM, killing these gnolls was a good act, because they were a force of terrible evil and suffering.
Also,
Well, they were
did
in our
kidnap
way.
people.
They tied people up with barbed wire, with like tetanus on the barbed wire.
I mean, I feel like that's the least of the terrible things that they've done, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
I feel like it's a good giveaway though.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Nowadays, it's real hard. You gotta really put it in people's face if somebody. All right, you know that to the northeast is more scrapyard, and you actually haven't deciphered the map yet. That's its own mini game.
I was about to say, who amongst us is best suited to decipher this map? What skills do we need to do so?
All right, I believe. Hold on. I think it's cartography or society, but let me check.
Oh, I'll have that. I miss having cartography.
You could again. Let's see.
I'm going for that skill monkey lifestyle.
Then you should have played rogue, because literally a level 1 rogue has every skill except for 3 at level 1.
I'm willing to work for it.
Yeah, but I mean there are archetypes coming up, free archetype.
Yeah. That has reinvigorated my excitement for this game.
Okay, so
It's multi-classing now.
this is a skill called decipher writing, essentially, is what you're trying to do. And because this is a map of a city structure, it would use society. But also cartography could be used as well with a much lower check. All right.
All right, I'll give a society roll.
All right. Yeah, you were able to make sense of the map, and you see that there are several areas of the sewer that are marked as never go.
We'll not go there.
Yeah. There is also something called Mushroom Grove up ahead in between the camp and the sewers. But you think, with your check, you will be able to route everyone through the sewers with minimal encounters. Possibly none, based on the notes on this map.
Okay. All right.
Just have to get through a mushroom grove.
Yeah.
So, Goblin friend. Goblins speak common. So far, they've just gone. "Arr!"
He's been speaking common.
Yeah, he had
Yes.
a gag in his mouth. Yeah.
I've definitely not been
Oh,
speaking
okay.
Goblin to him this whole time.
I was busy.
Busy frightening
My
him.
wounds being cut.
Hold on. Vulture, do you have a ticker tape producer kind of thing like the other automatons?
I don't.
Excuse
I think
me?
that's. He is not like the other. Oh, hashtag not like other automatons.
I'm trying to figure out where the resemblances are.
Oh.
There is none.
The resemblance here is like the robots that they build in Alkenstar are like steampunk.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, that movie WALL-E.
Mhm.
All right, they're like WALL-E, and advanced. He's in the sci fantasy category. They're in the steampunk category.
Gotcha.
Yep. That's the best way to describe it. Okay.
What was your question?
Yeah, I got questions. You're a dragon. Don't see many of those in the city.
Do you spend much time out of the sewers and the scrapyard?
Yes.
He does a history check, which is society, and he recalls.
Wait. You're the drake that hunts in the night. You're the slithering scale.
I don't really do that anymore. And I would like dramatically turn into a human form and say that maybe you see more than you might think, but it doesn't come with clothes, so I'll refrain from doing that. Nice to meet you, Gert.
All right, Gert says,
We all have a past we want to work past. Seems yours caught up with you. If you're stuck in this situation.
Yes, I've been in better. I've had better days.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
and he rubs his many puncture wounds that are festering with tetanus.
So if you wanted, you could come with us and we could get that illness that is now spreading through your body fixed before it breaks.
Oh, yeah. If you know a good healer, I could definitely use it. I'm a bit low on funds right now.
I may be able to help you out tomorrow. Me and Catrin are also going to have to treat our tetanus, and I can make anti-plague elixirs that should help us.
Oh, the last notable thing, Catrin, you notice now that you are just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? You're just kind of staring into the fire. This is not a giant rat. It is a headless kobold roasting over this fire. Pathfinder kobolds are, I don't know how else to say it. Imagine if there was a pug version of kobolds. That's what they're working with over here in Pathfinder land. They have these little stout like snouts, and they're little tryhards. They're trying their best, but they still have the bad habit of becoming minions for bigger, meaner creatures. But they're very into their dragon heritage.
Oh, I like the Pathfinder kobolds.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. But yeah, this one's not. He's
very much dead.
Humanoids?
They are considered humanoids. Yep.
Okay.
I think they are not quite as far as the goblins have come. You know, like the goblins have changed their society a lot in the last decade. The kobolds haven't quite done that. So. They're not a core ancestry. Let's put it that way.
So, anyways, I turn over to Gert and I say, so you say your luck turned around when you looked into finding Vishon Gattleby. What was it that you hoped to achieve by finding him?
I'm just worried about him. He invented some real dangerous stuff. Him and his lady friend. A real small firecracker of a woman. Honestly, a bit young for Vashon. I warned him about those young ones. I said she's probably after your money or your brains. But he was like, no. She's cool, man. She's cool. I don't think so. I bet she was the one that sabotaged the formula. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, any of you guys know a woman named Bellinora the Savvy? You watch out for her.
Bella shifts uncomfortably and stares at him with like a look that's just like burning eyes, kind of like piercing his soul.
Now he takes off his goggles and he has like little ditto eyes underneath, and he kind of squints at you. And he cleans his goggles, he puts them back on, and he says,
Anyways, yeah, if I could hitch a ride through the sewers with you folks, I'd really appreciate it.
Be good to have you, Gert.
All right, excellent.
Come with us. We'll keep you safe. And so, I'm sorry about like spooking you a little there. Get a little
I
carried
get it when the
away. I
when the
just-
battle lust. Yeah, I got it. You didn't know what was going on. Hey, it's
I just
fine.
wanted you to not get eaten by gnolls, you know?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
He does legitimately seem to be over it.
Are we good enough to go ahead, or and this looks at Katrin?
My God. How you doing?
I mean, how long has it been?
I'd say that this banter has been another 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I got an hour before I can heal myself again.
Okay.
Discretion
That's
is
not
maybe
true.
at
You
like.
can heal yourself again with lay on hands. It won't last.
To the south, you hear the crack of gunfire, echoing in the morning air and reverberating wildly off the walls of scrap.
Ah, shit.
Oh boy, it's
Ano-
time to go.
Another shot rings out.
Probably should get a
Now-
move on, unfortunately.
Okay, you said it's been 10 minutes. I mean,
Mhm.
I know this is kind of a iffy idea, but
All right.
Is 6 hit points worth it?
oh, is that all you stand to gain?
Do it.
Yeah. All right, no
It's
problem. No
fine.
problem. All right. Wonderful news. Okay. So you guys start heading north.
That seemed worth it. All right, let's do it.
It's green
Hold
over
on.
here.
Yep. Wait, hold on. Slow down, mushroom people.
Yeah. Do we want to do our actions?
Oh yes, my bad. Bloop.
Everyone, check your hands.
Yeah, check those hands. If you got a shield out, you got a weapon out, you got a hand free.
I want to
Reloaded.
try and if there's someone there, then I'll try and like approach them diplomatically.
From what you guys see off in the distance, lit by the morning light, are a bunch of dead mushroom people. You may attempt to recall knowledge to know more about these strange and unusual creatures. So just yeah, give me a straight up okay. Also, I will keep track of any applicable lore that you might have, like fungal enthusiast or something. Okay.
This ain't Red-Handed Doom.
Everybody but Stack. Nope, my bad. Stack and Ketrin. You guys identify that these are fungal leshy. Leshy are plant people, and in Pathfinder, they come in every imaginable flavor that plants come in, which is pretty fun. Much like D&D, they think that fungus are plants, because they just didn't want to create an entirely new category for fungus. They seem to be dead, brutally slaughtered.
Oh. Maybe there's some left alive.
Man, these background countdown clocks are brutal.
I'm gonna go a bit closer and try and see if there's any survivors.
Okay. Oh gosh, that's a terrible gunshot. There we go. That's a good one. Yeah. So again, there's more shooting coming from the south. For exploration, if you, all right, avoid notice, defend, scout, make an impression. All right, doesn't look like any of you are on the lookout for trouble. So it's all good, I guess. It would be their
Is
stealth.
that
It would be their
what scout is? What is
scouting. Scouting gives you everyone a +1 to their initiative.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a
Search would.
yeah. Search is the one that would kind of keep an eye out for danger, secret doors, stuff like that. So in this instance, mechanically, it would be their stealth checks against your guys' passive perceptions. If there even are any. If there are any, yeah.
I just look like a tired child dragging my feet behind you guys.
Okay. Well, I will let you move your minis around the board as needed. I will say that off in the distance, you would see the Mario pipe that leads to the sewers.
God, it's huge.
Yeah. Well, they got big monsters living in the sewers, and they want to accommodate that, you know.
That's fair.
Accessibility is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you guys haven't even found the gunpowder giants yet. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, there's mutant giants out in the mana waste.
Yeah.
And in order to keep the giants population low, anytime there is a factory defect on munitions, they just airdrop them into giant camps out in the wastes. So
they let it sort itself out.
Yeah, over the generations, the giants have learned how to use guns and munitions and explosions and stuff like that.
Here they use that as like a strategy to repel Gebite forces as well. Like.
Oh yeah. They just make the mana waste even more dangerous than they already are. Yeah. Essentially. Yep.
Can I say, Katrin, can you see what happened to them with your incredible medical skills? It's fine, you can't hurt them, they're dead.
So let's see. Medicine is administer first aid, treat disease, treat poison, treat wounds. I would say this is probably just a recall knowledge medicine. That works for me. All right. So Ketrin, you are confident that they were killed by the gnolls.
Okay. This is where the gnolls were last night. I mean, I wouldn't set up my society right next to a gnoll camp if I were them, but takes all kinds.
Yeah, a cursory look at their corpses also does not reveal anything of use or worth. Mostly because Anne Gregerson has not finished publishing their loot tables for Pathfinder yet. So.
We probably already looted them in the form of
a little snack, a little snack.
I think Gert has imprinted on me.
Well, I mean, he saw that angry look you got when he mentioned Bellinora, so it's good to have, someone that understands just what a wicked and terrible woman she is.
He likes inventors.
All right. So, as you guys enter the sewers, you get a dope loading screen that shows all sorts of cool sewer environs by our concept art team. But since you deciphered the map, it just says mission complete. And
does the loading screen have a little tip on the bottom?
Yeah, it says you should heal up between encounters whenever possible. Yeah. Check the newspaper for safe times to cast spells. Just things like that. Just little things like that. So, it says you could always try playing in story mode. Things that make you feel really good about yourself when
you can always switch the difficulty during the course of play.
Yeah. When you die for the 5th time in Tactician trying to beat a certain somebody and his robots, it's just you get that little. Maybe you should turn on baby mode for babies. Always feels good to see that.
I feel like that's what we're running right now.
So we head on over to the dashboard, and let me go grab some other music. Let's see. All right. So there is a sewer, and there are sewer encounters. But again, because you have her map and you got a very good check, you are able to sort of route the safest and most direct route back to an sewer entrance exit near the Barrel and Bullet Saloon. All right, so it's daytime, so we could probably just play some saloon music. All right. Let's see.
So the exit of that we come from, how close is it to the saloon?
Gosh, it's like across the street.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah,
How
what's
much
up?
poop do we get on ourselves going through these sewers?
How much poop did you get on yourselves? More than you would have liked.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to reactivate my hat.
Yeah, 'cause I was
Oh.
gonna say,
Access.
how busy does the street look, and how quickly can I get across
Well,
without people
if
seeing
you,
me?
it would take at least 20 minutes to navigate the sewers, maybe more. So you could just hang out down in the sewers until 10 when you enter bronze time, and then you'd be able to use your hats without issue.
I'm not spending any more time than I need to down in the shit-reeking sewer.
I don't want people to spot me, so I'll hang back.
Okay. All right.
You're staying here until it's safe, and I'll do the same.
Okay.
But otherwise, I would have just activated the hat.
Yeah, because you're either a dragon or a naked elf, both of which are pretty
Oh, I have spare
attention grabbing.
clothes,
Oh, you do have spare clothes. Okay, that's good.
but
Like all superheroes.
the elf is wanted, and the dragon is obvious.
Yeah. So okay. All right. I will say that in some combination of the two, you guys would return to the saloon upon recognizing question mark you guys. Would she recognize you if you have different disguises on than when you left? Maybe not.
Probably the people who didn't have to change their appearance.
Okay. I thought everybody changed their appearance though.
I mean,
to
we
go.
would
like-
smell
like
of
the-
poop
like-
and be carrying this big bag of holding. Who else would we be?
Oh, fair. Okay. So, all right. So, recognizing you, she says, "Oh, all right. You made it. All right. Why don't we head on upstairs and I'll get you situated."
If I could take a shower, that would be most appreciated.
Okay. She says, "Well, we'll see what we can do about that. Let me get you situated, and you could take a breather, and then we'll talk about this and that and the other. All right." Okay. So, she takes you upstairs, and Paizo, they work hard, and they play hard, and they do hard, but whoever made this map didn't put any bathrooms. You guys know how I fucking feel about that. You know how I fucking feel about that. But anyways, assume that there are bathrooms. Because you know, like the Alkenstar, they've got okay. So the upstairs is now you have 3 rooms that she has set aside for you to use. You got this kind of common room. There is an adjoining suite. This is essentially like the VIP suite that, you know, she would charge the most money for people to stay in. But there is a secret door on the southeastern wall that actually has like a barracks inside with like no windows and, you know, beds, like bunks for you guys to use. All right. And she says, I'll bring up some fresh food, some water, some soda pop. Y'all need some whiskey?
Yes.
All right.
After the day we've had, that sounds good.
All
Day,
right.
night, and morning.
I'll be back. And so she heads out.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna drink it or put it on my wounds.
All
I
right.
have a question, Crash. Do we have houses, like individual like apartments, or
I would say that Yes, but when you guys became official criminals, all of your lands and holdings were seized by the government.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, think of all the worst things going on with American capitalism and bureaucracy and apply it here with steampunk. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, are we now in bronze time? Did we?
Yes,
determine
you are now. You are now going to be in bronze time.
that? Okay, I'm gonna take some time and just lay on hands.
All right, I will
A whole
assume.
bunch.
Yeah, I will assume that over the next like 2 hours, you are just laying on hands, doing prayers, doing medicine, laying on hands. Everyone you could just heal up to full.
Okay.
All right. She comes back as you're opening the door. She has a tray of food, and she says, "Now, we don't need you wandering around causing any trouble. Damn shame what happened to my lion chef, my cook.
I mean, I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, I think you do. I don't
told
got
us-
any. I don't got any patrons crazy enough to be casting spells around my premises. But it's my own fault. I knew you were a rowdy bunch, and I gave you the means to cause some destruction. I'm
told
gonna
us
have
to go outside. You didn't say how far.
I know! My own damn fault.
It's a bigger area than we expected. I'm sorry.
It's the collateral damage in the larger war that we're waging against the enemy here.
Phoebe. Now it's been like over a month. Yeah, the form that the hat gave me was almost identical to him, and Muglin's men, they might be looking for him.
Oh my god. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Though, from what I understand, you done gone and poked a flaming stick into the hornet's nest that is Muglin and Lovelace's operation, which is exactly what I needed you to do. Now, go on, show Mama that chest.
Better not just be full of
Oh.
lead bars.
I have it.
Yeah, flourish.
You dump it out onto the coffee
Yeah,
table.
he turns over the bag of holding.
Big thud.
Yeah, ka-chunk. Gotcha. Alright, she takes out some very fancy tools and begins the slow, plot-driven process of opening the many locks and disarming the many traps and wards on the chest. As she does so, she talks to you, and she says, now, how y'all feeling about everything?
Well,
Are you asking something in particular?
Well,
Like,
I'm
never
just asking
happy
how you
about
feel about how it went.
that was the single most wild night of my life, at least, but I do feel good about how we really stuck it to ambush Muglin.
I've had more like dangerous heists, but I mean this was definitely up there.
All right, interesting. Okay, well, based on what I'm seeing and what I've been hearing, it was a bit of a mess. Some might even call it a clusterfuck. Do you want to give me a quick recounting of any of the specifics, or you ready to move on with your lives?
How much do you want to know?
Perhaps it's best I don't know too much.
Well,
After all, you are a bunch of criminals. Criminals that go robbing banks and Lord knows what else. You got quite a bounty on your heads. 50 gold apiece. That could pay for a lot of booze and a lot of soda pop. Could keep the lights on for a real long time.
all we're worth, we're gonna up that number.
Yeah, she lets out a hearty chuckle, and you hear another tumbler kind of pop, and she says, "Yeah, I think you are just the right pick for the operation that we are about to begin. I think that you passed this here test." You hear another tumbler pop into place with flying colors. And then you hear one last click, and she opens the chest. There is quite a bit of gold inside, and she portions out to you each your share, which is 25 gold apiece. And she says, as a bonus for a job well done, you're welcome to keep the bag of holding.
Nice.
But I am gonna need them hats back unless you wanna buy them off me. She gets a big gap-toothed smile on her face. I'll sell them to you at a discount on account of the fact that they pretty fucking deadly.
How much?
Let's put them at 10 gold apiece.
Yeah, I think that's a wise investment into our future.
Now, she closes the chest again after portioning out the money. On the subject of the future, I'm about to share with you some very delicate information. Information that I feel you have earned the right to know. And information that I understand that after hearing it, you may want to call it quits. Try to make your own way in the world. And then, for instance, she says, and I guess your new character will take over then. And then she says, I'm not just a simple barkeep. I'm not just a pretty face. I'm a agent of Alkenstar in the service of the Duchess herself. And
So,
I am forming a team at the Duchess's request or behest. A team of people that are operating so far off the grid and so far away from her as to be unnoticed. But a team of individuals whose very existence is going to get the fires lit and the ire stoked of a certain corrupt lawwoman and local businessman.
so essentially, you're a member of her.
It's for this
Secret
team.
Service.
Yeah, that has a nice ring to it. We just call ourselves the Agents of Alkenstar, because it's alliteration.
Do like alliteration.
When she says that, you realize that you have now unlocked the Agent of Alkenstar archetype, if you would like to take it as your free archetype.
Ooh, I was looking at that one.
Yeah, that one's pretty neat. It's basically a mashup of like rogue skills and ranger skills, and gunslinger skills. They're all like some of these archetypes. Yeah, some of these archetypes they just like cannibalize from other places, and then they kind of create like a new thing, cobbling together abilities from other classes.
There's a lot of them. It's kind of hard to absorb them all, but
Yeah.
So I was looking at Ranger and Rogue, so let me look at that now.
Yeah, Outlaws or Agent of Alkenstar is a good one. She says, now your history, as varied and colorful as it is, it gets under the skin of Muglin and Lovelace, you see. Keeps them thinking dumb. Keeps them angry. That's exactly what the Duchess needs for agents for this operation. People that are going to keep them so off guard, so off balance, so out of kilter, that they don't even suspect that the government's onto them and coming after them. You follow me?
yeah. Bellinor gives a wry smirk. She's like, I've been sending Ambrose smuggling for a spin my entire life since the day I showed up in the city. This sounds like exactly what I'd like to sign up for.
Now, I don't want you to get your hopes up too much. sticking it to those two and fucking them over, that ain't the primary objective of this operation. It might just be a little benefit on the side. The true purpose of this is to stop Vashon Gattleby. And when she says that, she looks right at Bellinora the Savvy. She says, Vashon and his partner, Bellinora, they were developing a experimental explosive. Unfortunately, they were more successful than they realized. The demonstration that Vashon gave, -1 outlawed Bellinora, nearly blew up the entire Arcane Academy, if not for wards of protection built into the very bricks of the building, and a protective blast shield set up to protect the panelists and the audience. It would have been a massacre. Vashon himself, he left, and as far as we know, he's still locked away in his smokeside workshop. He is the problem. The power of that explosion, even dampened by the defensive measures of the college, was not lost on the audience. And one such audience member was a local businessman. He wants that formula. And he and Lovelace are going to do anything they can to get a hold of it. It's a delicate situation. We don't want to move on them officially because we don't want to tip our hands to Lovelace or Muglin that they know what they're about. Also, in the big scheme of things, them two is small fish. What's Muglin really going to do with the recipe, huh? What do you think he's going to do with it?
Elnor looks off into the distance with kind of like a mortified look, thinking about how much power a man like that could have with such destruction at his availability.
Probably sell it to the highest bidder.
He's gonna sell it to the highest fucking bidder. And if you forgot, we're in the middle of a goddamn war zone. We got Geb and Nex. They ain't never forgotten. They ain't never buried the hatchet. They get strong enough bombs. They get strong enough explosives. Ain't no mana waste. Ain't no gunpowder giants gonna keep us safe. This is gonna be a bigger wasteland than ever. So we need to get a hold of this formula before anyone else does. Now, I have it under good authority that Vashon's place is under heavy surveillance by a number of gangs. Most of them mercenary gangs working for the highest bidder. And also they've, for some reason, increased the frequency of shield marshal patrols in that particular area of the slums. I also have it on good authority that a warrant has been requested, and despite the best efforts of like-minded bureaucrats, can't be forestalled any longer than Friday morning. Friday morning, Lovelace and her team are going to be there, and they're going to be arresting that man, and that's the last we're ever going to see of him. So, we got to get over there. We got to get him out, and we got to bring him here, and then I'm going to transfer him into protective custody of the state. With him, and two, you were able to, well, I'll put it frankly, you were able to pull off the impossible. In that moment, you feel that she didn't really know for sure if you guys were just going to die in the bank or if you were actually going to be able to make it back. And that feeling of all of this was just a test kind of settles over you. In however your character feels about it is, you know, is their business, but it definitely has that feel to it. She says, now, you've been through an ordeal. I can see it in your eyes. You take the time you need to rest and heal. But you need to know that he needs to be out of that house before Friday morning. Alright?
Eleanor kind of angrily grumbles and looks very conflicted.
Now, I'll keep the papers coming. I'll get you food. I'll get you drink. You can have these 3 rooms. Whatever you need. You go out, though. You best be doing it under disguise, and you best not be using them hats. Unless it's bronze time. Not on my property. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but I am going to tell you from my own personal experience, the best thing that you should do is scout around. And when she says that, you see scout around is in all blue, and then a tutorial thing comes up. And essentially, scouting around is a minigame, an extended skill challenge style minigame related to this next mission, wherein you will make daily checks. Essentially, they work in 4-hour blocks. You can do 2 per day to build up points to see how hard or easy the extraction mission becomes. So the more points you have, the easier it will be. The less points you have, the harder it will be. And the more terrible things will go wrong. You also, during that time, will be able to do crafting. You could earn an income, using downtime rules. And you could, of course, do research, like, recalling knowledge and kind of studying up on the mission that is to come. So, the other thing that you need to know is you have hit a milestone, which is making it back to the Barrel and Bullet Saloon. And there isn't really a lot of time for downtime. When you level, there's just a timey-wimey 7 days of downtime that you could utilize. So if you needed to use that to do a retrain, if you wanted to just earn some income, we would basically just treat it as 7 days of earning income. If you wanted to do some crafting, you would essentially have 7 days of crafting that you could do. This is, again, a timey-wimey, like pocket dimension type level up time period. So you would still have whatever time between now and Friday morning that you decide to do with as well. But the level up week is only for a respec, which is an actual thing you could do in Pathfinder. You can kind of retrain stuff using downtime. Earning income, which you won't really earn a lot of income, but at this level, I mean, any money is probably good. And then there's crafting, if you are so inclined. So, with all that said, before she gives you any more information, do you guys want to level up now, or do you want her to give you more the rest of the information and then you level up?
More information never hurts. But...
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we'll head over to the map real quick. And let's see. Let me put on some music here. Let's see. Just looking up something real quick. Oh man. Perfect. Okay. All right. So, you guys are back at the Barrel and Bullet Saloon, and Gattleby's house is over here. All right. Like I mentioned earlier, almost like foreshadowing, people that are doing magical experiments and stuff, they do find that Smokeside is actually a better place to do that. One, because the collateral damage doesn't matter as much, as heartless as that sounds. And two, because you have lower chance of they do have specially treated facilities that reduce wild magic effects, and they have underground bunkers and facilities where they could do that kind of stuff with minimal damage to the city. But in Vashon's case, he maintains his own private laboratory in Smokeside, despite having his main residence over in Skyside, and despite being a rather was a rather well-respected member of the Blythier College. All right. So, what she is proposing is you guys figure out the one or more possible ways to get Gattleby from his house back to the Barrel and Bullets Saloon. She knows that a number of mercenary gangs are watching Gattleby's house, but no one has moved on this man yet. And also that there has been increased Shield Marshal activity, which doesn't make any sense other than the Shield Marshals are keeping tabs on Gattleby as well. So you do have the sewer map. You could try to route through the sewers. However, the sewer map does indicate that the path from Barrel and Bullet to Gattleby's house will take you through some areas that the Knolls marked as dangerous and bad. All right. There is a water feature here, right? And the massive river. But keep in mind that any city like this that has a river and water features, there are going to be very small canals that kind of bisect the different parts of the city to help with the flow of wastewater and whatnot. So every now and then you may also encounter canals with bridges. Those are going to be very dangerous sort of choke points. And again, this is what scouting a route would help you guys avoid situations like that. And scouting a route can also help you find like safe houses or places to duck into. And basically the goal is to earn preparation points. Scouting a route is a half-day downtime activity that requires athletics, perception, society, or survival. It's a DC 15, and on a critical success, we flavor your check as earning you 2 preparation points. A regular success gives you 1, a failure gives you nothing, and a critical failure has no penalty. You can earn quite a few of these, but I will tell you when you cannot earn any more. Everyone's efforts contribute. All right. Other things that they suggest in the adventure that you consider doing would be using that time to craft, if you are able, or to gather information, which gather information is its own skill. And you could also use diplomacy to gather information, which is the skill for gather information. So you kind of go around and gather that information. I would also say that you could use recall knowledge to kind of do some research as well, but that would kind of count as a half-day activity, as you're sort of researching different aspects of the mission or new information that you gather from scouting out the mission. I will tell you full meta that healing up to full with Ketrid, leveling up, going to sleep, waking up tomorrow, high-fiving, and heading out will result in a very difficult adventure. So it is in your best interest to take advantage of the Scouter Route minigame and sort of, better prepare yourselves for it.
So,
All
what part of that was the gather information? Because that's not.
So gather information is a separate thing from scouting a route. So scouting a route is the only way to earn preparation points. Gathering information will kind of give you some nuggets of wisdom, tidbits, things like that. about the situation, the buzz around town, that sort of thing. Because I don't know what day you're going to decide to act on this, I don't have formal newspapers to read, but over the next few days, you will hear about your involvement with the heist, and you will hear about the murder of the bank teller that the house keeper doesn't know anything.
Hell yeah.
And that she's so traumatized by the events that she is leaving town to go stay with her family up north.
Ooh.
Way to go, Sylvie.
That's
So-
code
wait.
for she ain't coming back. That's code for she ain't coming back.
Oh.
On the
Poor
bright
Sylvie, we let her
side,
go.
you won't have to help her get ownership of the house anymore. So there's that.
There's
Yeah.
free real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be that sort of tension building in the background. And you can also use gather information to see if there's any news about you guys, your bounties, who's looking for you, whether you guys are alive or dead, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot you could do during this downtime minigame kind of thing. So, with all that meta information delivered to you, about anything that's happened so far, anything that's happening moving forward.
What day is it?
Oh, so it is still Sunday the 31st. You
Okay,
got-
so we
yeah,
have like 5 days.
yeah.
before
Oh yeah.
We have to. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're good. They're a government agency. They are good at but if they outright denied Lovelace's request for a warrant, they are worried that would kind of tip their hand, and he would just be like, "Fuck it, send in the goons. You know, we'll do this illegally," kind of deal. Yeah.
I have a question. What was the
Mhm.
deal with that shield marshal that barged in here yesterday and took out that outlaw that tried to make a break for it?
Just
something
that,
about
just that
Pauline
shield marshal. Yeah, just that shield marshals. You know, they catch criminals and stuff.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
a regular occurrence.
If you wanted more information about it, that would be a good gather information downtime activity. No.
Okay.
Yep. So, but as far as what Phoebe knows about it, she says, you know, from what I could tell, Blanc wasn't doing the best job as a security guard, and cost Muglin Industries a little bit of coin. Realizing that she had screwed up, she dipped, and she took quite a bit of company property with her. It's amazing how when you're friends with the top-ranking officer in town, your crime reports somehow make it to the top of the stack.
So, if you weren't sure that, like, you know, we were coming back or that we were capable, or whether we were capable, rather, weren't you a bit concerned about us knowing you were part of it? Like, what if we were captured?
She nods to you, and she says, well, like I said, I'm more than just a barkeeper. I did my research. None of you is really criminals, she says, eyeballing Bellanora the Savvy. And those of you that is, you have a worthwhile enough connection to this case to make it worth the risk.
So, are we, if we accept this now, undercover agents of Alkenstar?
She smiles again with her big gap tooth smile, and she says, if you'd like, I can deputize you, but we common folk of the city.
Do we, if I may, do we get, you know, Black Ops equipment?
She laughs heartily and she says, "Yeah, when you buy it with your own goddamn money. If I feel that you are lacking the right equipment for the job, such as hats in the skies and a bag of holding to hold a big ass treasure chest, I'll give it to you. But I ain't no commissary or weapon shop at your disposal, Stack the Deck."
And we maybe send some of your staff out to the shops to purchase equipment for us so that we don't.
Absolutely. The less you use them God's damned hats, the better.
On that, if you could have someone help buy me a gun, I could use a replacement.
Sure.
As soon as we got back to the bullet and barrel, I snatched my clan pistol back.
Meticulously checked it for damage.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she says, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll, you just give me the list and we'll take care of it.
Thanks so much, Phoebe.
And then a tutorial message pops up that says, in the city of Alkenstar, you can purchase, because it's a big ass city, you can purchase common equipment that is of your level at any time, right? As long as you're not in an initiative, in an adventure, right? You can just purchase common equipment of your level. Magical items will always be minus, I believe, 3, minimum 1, and then alchemical items though will be up to +3. So you will be able to find, since you're going to be level 2, up to level 5 alchemical items. But you'll never find better than level 1 magical items for sale. Which is pretty restrictive, but weird, because having more powerful alchemical items is good, but having weaker magical items is going to be rough. So it's a big city. Anything that's tagged as common, you should be able to find. Anything uncommon or rare, you have to run it by the GM before you purchase it. Because the city is so big, there's just no point in having like merchant NPCs, because like it's a city of commerce. So you will be able to just buy the stuff that you need if you have the money. So we'll just kind of add the equipment and then subtract the money as you purchase it. Okay. So any questions about buying stuff? Just gonna go. They'll buy serviceable equipment at half of its normal retail value.
Question about that whip. Is the transferring of a rune a downtime activity?
Only if you are trained in the feats, craft magical items. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So you would just have to pay someone else to do it.
Right.
All right. Any other questions for Phoebe before she sets you loose to leveling up?
I have one. As a agent of Alkenstar, you are likely familiar with the underlying works of the city. The seedy underbelly. What kind of things does that make you privy to? I'm asking what the underworld lore's ability kind of allows a player to understand.
Oh, you're asking what underworld lore allows you to understand?
But yeah, I mean, obviously criminal activity. But
there's a lot of crime in this campaign, so
seems valuable.
The number one thing that comes to mind is you would be able to identify named bad guys who are criminals easier. Yeah, you'd be able to use recall knowledge on those people easier.
I like that.
I've seen that come up quite a bit in the stat blocks. Every stat block of monster in this game, it has like what the recall knowledge skills are to learn about the monster and what the DCs are. And then if it doesn't, it's based on their type and their level. So
Every monster in Pathfinder does, in fact.
Yeah. And how I am running recall knowledge after the few sessions that we've had is you roll recall knowledge on a monster. I don't tell you what skill I'm looking for. I just look at the macro and then see if you have the ones that are appropriate for the monster. And then if you are successful, I tell you a little bit about the monster, and then I'll let you ask one question. That question can be mechanical. That question could be roleplay. You could say, what is its worst saving throw? You could say, does it have any weaknesses? Like things like that. If you critically succeed, I ask you, I tell you about it, and then I let you ask 2 questions. If you fail, I say you don't remember anything, and if you critically fail, I make up shit about it, and then I let you ask 1 or 2 questions, and then I give you false information for those. Yeah. Now, once you fail, if you try again, I think raw, you're not supposed to let them try again if they if they fail.
Yeah.
But I would allow to try it a second time. But those are diminishing returns per person, so every single person could try to make a check. Unlike D&D, where it's very easy to pass checks, you guys have seen, trying to climb a fucking fence, right? That it's not easy to do anything in this. So it's okay for everybody to try to make checks because 1, we know most of you aren't going to succeed, and 2, if people try that aren't good, they're going to make things worse by getting the wrong information. So it's completely all right for everybody to try to make recall knowledge checks because the system is built around the idea that each of you could try to do that.
Yeah. I'm really curious about the dubious knowledge feed. I'm wondering how that's going to play into it when it's constantly feeding both correct and incorrect information.
It's going to be a nightmare for you. I'm a very good liar.
I know.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why with me as your GM, you would take that feat, but
I like a challenge.
Okay. Obviously, you signed up for a Pathfinder game with Wild Magic, so
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Phoebe? Nope. All right. If you think of any others, you can always ask because you are going to be staying at her place during the week. Okay. Now it's level up time. It's good, in my opinion, that we're having this first level up in session. Because it can be weird. It can be a little weird. So, step 1 is you go to your character sheet, you go to the top right where it says level, and you change that level to number 2. After which, if you go over to your little medal that says feats, it should create some blank feats based on your stuff. And then you can, start filling those things out. Now, I believe this game is set to partial boost increase, which I thought, yeah. Now it's weird because Foundry already shifted over to revised 2nd edition, even though the books aren't even out. So in revised, there's no longer like stats. You might have noticed on your character sheet that your strength is just +3 now, your dex is +1, etc., etc. So because partial stat increase didn't really get taken into consideration for this decision, it kind of makes a weird situation where you might just get a half a point increase. So if the increase would have just raised a stat by 1, it's only going to raise these by half, unfortunately. You're not going to actually see any returns yet. Mental math, D&D and Pathfinder used to be, every 2 points you get 1 bonus, and Pathfinder Revised was like, all people care about is the bonus. Why don't we just focus on the bonuses? And so they kind of shifted over to that. But because there were still some systems where your stat increases by 1 and not 2, they had to account for that, and then that's a partial increase. And a partial increase doesn't really do shit on its own, essentially. So just, that's what's happening there when you see it's a partial increase.
So you're only going to have +4 in one of your stats, and you're going to want to boost that as soon as possible. But since you don't get anything the first time, you may as well boost it last on the first round and first on the second. so that you get the other boosts first that actually do something. So why not maybe tempted to be like, hey, I want more dex. If your dex key stat, there's no point boosting it first if that's your 18 or 4+4, I guess.
Yeah. So
that's not too Pathfinder kid for you.
I find what you're saying to be confusing.
Yeah, it was a little bit less confusing than when Leah tried to explain the same concept to everybody in Sunset, but still pretty confusing. Here's the thing. Keep in your hearts the knowledge that at level 5, I'm going to allow everyone to do a full respec if they want, because you're still learning the system. So you can make as many dumb mistakes and learner mistakes and any mistakes that you want now, because at level 5 you will get to do a fresh build. You'll get to kind of go into Path Builder if you want, and even if you keep almost everything the same, you might be like, hey, now I know a little bit more about how the game works. I'm going to go in and try this, and this. Okay. There is something called retraining, which is a downtime activity. So if you have something that you don't like about your character, you can do what's called a retraining activity. And I will post the link into Foundry real quick. And so retraining offers a way to alter some of your character's choices. It's helpful when you want to take your character in a new direction or change decisions that didn't meet your expectations. You could retrain feats, skills, and some selectable class features. You can't retrain your ancestry, heritage, background, class, or ability scores, though there are items that let you change your heritage and gender rather easily. They just cost money. Retraining usually requires... So if you made a vampire and you realize that it ain't great, you could, go out and purchase an item that lets you change your race to something else. Sorry, heritage. A physical training setting, a library, or falling into shared magical trances. Your GM determines whether or not you need an instructor, blah, blah, blah. Some abilities can be difficult or impossible to retrain, like a sorcerer can't retrain their bloodline. When retraining, you generally can't make choices you couldn't make when you selected the original option. So, for instance, if you're exchanging your 2nd level feat, you wouldn't be able to trade it out for a 4th level feat, even if you're now eligible for 4th level feats. So it's an even swap when you do it, essentially. You have to kind of travel back in time to the moment when you learn the thing you're retraining, and then you have to do it based on where you were at that point in time. It takes a week of downtime to swap out one of your feats or one of your skill increases. So if you wanted to use the timey-wimey free 7 days that you get during the level ups in this campaign to retrain a skill or feat, you could do so. Now, the other complication here is
options.
Yeah. It's I like it, but I also hate it. It's like making a commander deck in Magic the Gathering. It's too many options.
It took me 3 hours to build this character. Now it's going to take me another 3 hours for the level up.
Well, here's the thing. I want you to be able to play the game today. So do the rudimentary stuff, right? And we can do this downtime mini game of scoping things out and figuring things out. I don't know if that'll take the full hour of the session, but you can be in between turns, essentially, of the downtime minigame. You could be kind of working on the character as well. Now, the other complication is there is an optional rule in Pathfinder 2e called free archetype. And raw, that you don't actually get a free archetype. If you want a multi-class, you have to sacrifice class feats to gain them. So you would not be as good at your primary class because you are trying to also be good at other classes. People were like, that's just too punishing. I don't want to do it. Like, only the most extreme builds, or people that were really I want to do this because my character is definitely going to do this, were doing it. So there's a house rule, I think it's official house rule, that most
in the first core book.
Yeah, that most groups do like to use. And that is called free archetype. And that is where the DM for the campaign kind of curates a list of these would literally a free archetype called Viking that they could be like, you could all be Vikings in my campaign as a free archetype. And then there are DMs that they wild AF and they're like, yeah, why don't we just try whatever? And then they let you just kind of pick whatever and build the most broken ass characters possible. I'm going to be like somewhere in the middle. I'd like you to kind of, because I'm also learning, the system. I'd like you to run past me, like what your free archetype is going to be, just so that I know what, what's going on and what we're dealing with. If it's something, because some of them are very strong. The ones that are uncommon and rare, they are in many ways just mechanically better than the others. And so unless they were specific to this campaign, I probably wouldn't allow them. So if there was like a rare or uncommon one from another campaign that lets you become like a fucking mummy lord or something, I would probably be like, that has nothing to do with this campaign. I'm not going to allow that. So I do want everybody to
mummy lord.
Yeah, I want everybody to kind of run. Yeah, there's like most campaigns have like adventure paths have a few special archetypes included with them as well, which is kind of neat. This campaign has the Alkenstar agent, and that is, like we said before, a gunslinger ranger rogue mashup. So it has all of the things that you would kind of expect a gunslinging secret agent to probably have access to. So if you wanted to have that flavor without sacrificing your primary class, that's a really fun way to do it. There's also the medic archetype. So if you want to just be so good at medicine, you can never go wrong with that archetype. It's really, really good. But yeah, it's very exciting. Now, you can also take more than one archetype during your life, but you have to take a certain number from the same tree before you could take a new archetype. So just be mindful of that. But like my level 9 character in the Tuesday game has, I believe, 2 different archetypes that she has taken. Because initially she did the sorcerer bloodline, which is fantastic if you need extra spell slots and all that, but probably not for this campaign. And then she took champion, which is pretty awesome if you can handle the bulk of heavy armor and you are tired of getting critically hit by every attack that comes at you. Because I think just the entry feat for champion gives you heavy armor proficiency, which is kind of bananas. So yeah, it's definitely a deep system, and it creates an opportunity to build some campaign next year, Stolen Fates or whatever. So we all have been working on our level 11 characters. I think Remy has spent 6 hours on his character. I know I spent 3 or more hours on my character just because of the sheer volume and depth of character creation. It's kind of bananas. It is fine to just take the basic choice to say, I'm a cheese pizza and I'm gonna put some pepperoni on it, and you're done. That is 100% okay. You do not have to delve super deep into this stuff. And if you want recommendations, I can try to help with that as well. And you can always ask the group, because some people have kind of looked into this more than others.
My question is, you still have to meet the prereqs for these dedications for the free one, right?
For the archetype, yes, I am ruling that you don't just get it for free with no requirements.
Okay, well, not going to look at the agent one, because I'm not trained in deception.
Aw. I mean, you could be. You got a week here.
You can retrain to be trained in deception.
I don't
and then take it.
I don't feel like that's Walter's deal, but it's tempting.
Remember that deception is more than lying to people. Deception is feinting in combat so that you can actually use your hiding skills and shit.
You can. There's literally a skill option, like not a skill feat, just an option you can do that uses deception, which is look over there and then hiding.
Yeah, it's
use
not. Yeah, it's not
deception to
just
hide
about.
instead of stealth.
Yeah, it's not just about bamboozling. Like deception has a lot of additional uses.
Only use it once per opponent now.
I'm looking through Path Builder because
Mhm.
I'm trying to find the prereqs for this one skill feat. And
All
I
right.
can't
What is
find
the what are you looking for? Give me the keywords.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the prereqs are.
It's a level 2 thing, and you're getting it from your archetype, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
you're gonna have to be level
Feigns.
4 for that.
Feigns French word is a uncommon rogue swashbuckler stance. And technically, this is great. This is great lore tutorial. Technically, in order to learn this, you have to be a member of the Pathfinder Society, which is a hoity-toity official global adventurers guild in the world of Golarion. And it's basically like very meta because it's supposed to sort of mirror like the IRL Pathfinder Society where they go and they play, pickup games with each other. From what I can tell, most
Because it's uncommon, and access means if you have that, it's common for you.
Right. So I would say that it's not a problem for you to get access to it.
No, he was asking mechanically for how Path Builder works, and the answer is you're probably clicking at level 2 and not level 4.
Oh.
Because you get half your level when you're doing it through a archetype, and it's a level 2 thing, so you're gonna have to get it via your level 4.
I'll have to do it at level 4. Oh.
Right, so you get the dedication at level 2, and then at level 4, then you'll get one that's like you get to level 1 or 2 feet, and then you'll be able to get that.
Yeah, I see the issue here. Yeah. You're always going to be slower in progression at your archetype class. So if you took the swashbuckler multi-class archetype, that essentially just got you in the door. And now the next time you get access to one, you can take one of the actual feats.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Josh. I was like, why? What is he worried about? Like he does, doesn't need to be in the Pathfinder Society. But yeah. But that's a great question. Any of those multi-class feats, you can't just immediately be like, I am a swashbuckler and start taking swashbuckler stuff. There are essentially skill trees for all of those things. So the first step is to take the multi-class archetype feat. That gives you what the game believes is the core values of that class. This is what defines this class. Then, if you continue to pursue that class, you can start learning more and more of the things, including the lower level feats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just put the feats. I'll give it you in chat in Foundry.
So basic flair comes from. So I get swashbuckler, then I select it's like the swashbuckler subclass, and
yeah, this is a level 4 swashbuckler archetype feat, and it gives you a level 1 or 2 swashbuckler feat.
Oh, I see it, man. I was lost in like the sub
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So rather than just having an open-ended rule that says, yeah, if you take an archetype multi-class feat, from now on you can take first and second level feats. They just made a feat that gives you a feat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't find the sub feat of it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you think like a computer, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this also comes into play. There's these general feats, and one of the general feats is like you're more of your race than you were before, and then so you're taking a feat, which is then telling you to go and take a.
Why people go human, because then they can get a level 1 class feat through their ancestry feats.
Yeah, humans are really good at mixing it up. I think half elves as well are pretty good at mixing up, but half elf is just a lineage for anything.
That anyone can get now. They changed it.
Yeah.
Can take it. I have an issue, which is
Well, I was going for that Draconic Ravager, which isn't just rare, it's third party. But it's from, the dragon stuff.
Okay.
I think the module
Draconic
has Ravager. But I think the
Draconic
dragon
Ravager.
module has deactivated itself somehow.
Oh, let me check. Manage modules. It did deactivate itself. All right, so hold on, everybody. If you're doing something, like, finish what you're doing real quick, because I'm gonna end up restarting the server. In 3, 2, 1.
I selected investigator. For now, I think.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my brain is way too smooth for this stuff. I'm just gonna go cheese pizza.
Dude, it's a lot.
It is okay. And again, at level 5, right, which is a ways from now. Okay, it's the halfway through the campaign because it goes to level 10. You will, through osmosis, have learned more about the game. And you might say, okay, I think I understand a little bit more, and I would like to try this instead, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if even if we get to level 5, you're like, nah, I'm good. I like roll dice, big number, make damage. That's okay too.
A question about treating wounds, because now I'm
Yes.
going to be better at it. So before I roll, do I have to declare which DC I'm going for?
Yes, before you roll, you have to declare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That sucks.
Great question. Great question. There is something called assurance that you can get access to. It is a skill feat, and basically it just says I always roll 10. Right? It's reliable talent. It's not as good as reliable talent because you only get your raw modifiers. You don't get to apply your ability score modifier to it.
I think you
It's
can
even
apply your
weirder.
proficiency bonus, but that equals your level,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Right.
Your
Yeah.
level.
The only modifier is the proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Right.
That includes negative modifiers. It ignores negative modifiers as well.
So assurance is great if you have. There's also a feat that lets you if you have access to that feat and you're in a relatively safe place, we just kind of hand wave it. We're like, okay, everybody, it's safe. This is a safe place. It's going to take, we'll say, 2 hours. Everybody gets max health, and they have their wounds treated. So that feat does kind of give me, the GM, the opportunity to just kind of hand wave the mini game in certain situations. So it's not a bad pick at all. The faster turnaround.
I will get there.
Okay.
I can't get there yet. I have to take battle medicine first to get the medic archetype, and then so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I find that there's some real nasty status effects in the game. They are so nasty that even spells require what's called a counteract check. So, in 5e, we ask for caster checks. Imagine poison or diseases being like, nah, dog, I ain't going anywhere. Give me a caster check. That's Pathfinder 2 afflictions. So even spells that would say I treat this stuff. It's like, cool, you need to give me a counteract check. Some are specific to dealing with that stuff. Some are more broad, but very frequently there's no silver bullet solution, which is fascinating. What's the question?
I at least know I have tetanus. Is that going to come into play, or
yes?
Are you kind of waiting to reveal that?
So you should probably get tetanus checked out during the 5 days. You would not be able to deal with this during the 7 timey-wimey days. That's only for crafting, retraining, or earning a little bit of money. Yeah. But essentially, what Ketrin would be able to tell you out of combat, with her headspace better and all that, is tetanus is an infection introduced through open wounds. It produces stiffness, muscle spasms strong enough to break your bones, and ultimately death. It does take 10 days to set in. Once it does, you get a new fortitude save. If you pass the fortitude save, you get over it. If you fail the Fortitude save, you gain a permanent Clumsy 1. Which is a -1 penalty to dex-based checks and DCs, including your armor class, reflex saves, range attack rolls, and skill checks that use acrobatics, stealth, and thievery. You live with that for a week. You get another saving throw. If you succeed, you go back to just being infected, essentially. If you fail, though, you go into stage 2, and then in stage 2. You gain Clumsy 2 and can no longer speak. That lasts for a day, and then the critically pass, you go down 2 stages. If you fail, you go to stage 3, and you are paralyzed with spasms. This lasts for a day. Then the next day you go to stage 4. You do another Fortitude save. If you fail, you just die. Now, critically failing advances you 2 stages at once. So diseases are rough. But you don't have to worry about it for 10 in-game days. And that 7-day meta pocket time thingy, that's not going to apply towards your tetanus.
Treat disease is a downtime option, and correct. I have medicine, so
you should be able to help them, yes. So how treat disease works as a downtime activity. You have to have healer's tools. You spend 8 hours in a day caring for a diseased creature. You attempt a medicine check against the DC of the disease. After you attempt to treat the disease for a creature, you can't try again until after their next save against the disease. So, again, diseases are real rough in Pathfinder 2. If you critically succeed, you don't actually remove the disease. You give them a +4 circumstance bonus to their next save against the disease. If you succeed, normally, they get a +2. If you critically fail, they actually get a -2 penalty to the next save against the disease. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so you would probably want, at some point during the 5 days leading up to the extraction of Vashon, to get someone to treat this disease. So that 10 days from now, on your disease anniversary, you can have a bonus to that check.
Okay. Oh, so I literally have to wait for those 10 days to make the check. I can't make it before then.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I need to plan this out ahead, but because one of the things I took as her reagents is the anti-plague elixir, which gives you a +2 item bonus to fortitude saves against diseases. So I'll have to prepare that for that moment, I guess.
I also have tetanus, but my fortitude is pretty good. So
lucky you, when I make things, I always make 2. So
okay.
All right. Well, I will add Tetanus Day. It is the 9th day of Erodus, a Toils Day.
That's a horrible festival.
Yeah. So
City
I will.
Has so many holidays.
I'll put a reminder on there, and I'll invite everybody to this fun event. All right. So
I don't want to be invited for that.
So on the 9th of next month, you will be able to celebrate Tetanus Day together. All right. So you have until the 9th. You have until the 8th, essentially, to set aside. You're like, you wake up that morning and you just chug anti-disease serum. You're like, gug, 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 gug.
Well, sounds like a not right now problem.
Now, there are vaccines, but because you live in a video game, the vaccines aren't, like, foolproof. And I don't think they can help you after the fact. Yeah.
No, that's why I took the anti-plague elixir, because it does work retroactively.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions about your downtime and your leveling before we get into the real downtime, which is the 5 days leading up to the the extraction?
Could I, because I have this back alley doctor background,
could
I earn an income using medicine? It's
absolutely
not one of the listed ones.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a special button because this man, I'm so spoiled here. I have a special button that can be clicked to play the earn income minigame.
Okay.
So let me make all of you owners of that button. And then you should be able to find it in your macros directory. If you search for earn income, you can drag it down to your World of Warcraft hotbar. With your mini selected, if you click on it, it will prompt you to do the mini game. So I'm just gonna click on Vulture to sort of test it out real quick. Yeah. So when you go to do a job, you ask the DM, because video game, what level jobs are available in my area and for my situation. And then the DM might say, oh, like you can do jobs equal to your level, or you could do equal or less than your level, or you could do jobs up to blank more than your current level. The higher level job you try to do, the higher the DC is going to be, but the higher the payout is going to be. Okay, so that's a great question. Does anybody want to use all or some of their 7 meta days of leveling up to earn some income? This would be reflected as you having like a secret stash of money that you had somebody go and pick up for you, because you obviously didn't have 7 days to go work. So this would represent work that was done beforehand.
I will spend all 7 days doing it.
All right, so you will be our guinea pig. So
okay.
with your mini selected, click on the earn income doodad.
Okay.
All right,
days
so
7.
Yeah, back alley medicine, I would say you could do up to level 3. So you could do 0, 1, 2, or 3 level job. To earn income, and we see what happens.
Okay, well, I'll do. I mean, is the DC harder for different levels?
Oh yes, the higher level, the harder the DC.
Okay, I'll do level 2.
Okay.
Jobs then, and I will earn income. And okay.
All right, so you failed, but you still earned income, which I feel is the most realistic thing I've ever seen in a tabletop role-playing game. Because I mean, if you look at your coworkers, anyways, they still get paid. So you earned 28 copper that week. So we will say that Ketrin, this is such a small amount of money that when you were cleaning your equipment, you just happened to find 28 copper.
Pockets.
Yeah, like while you were leveling, you're like, oh, there's this, and you look inside thinking it's going to be a lot of money, and you're like, it's something. It's something. Okay. Does anyone else want to use their level up meta time to earn income?
I'll use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go last. You go first. I'm trying to figure out how many elixirs of life I can make.
Yeah, Stack's just gonna aggressively gamble on.
Oh, okay. Okay. I would say
in
the town of Alkenstar, they love gambling. I would allow, and this is very spicy, you're going to be level 2 for this, so I would allow you to go up to level 5 gambling if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unlike Xanathar's guide, where all the different downtimes pay out different money, and apparently the most valuable thing you could ever be is a pit fighter, all of these jobs pay the same fucking amount. So there's no way to be like, I earn more money than this guy. It's again it's just sort of a video game thing where you earn a little extra money because you just didn't have anything else to do with your downtime. All right, so if you're doing 7 days, there you go. Oh dang. Okay, so you failed by 5 or more, which isn't a critical failure. But you did try a much harder thing. Looks like, oh my god, level 5. So you were playing at some pretty high pressure tables. You did walk away with 14 silver pieces, even though you lost a lot of money. So we will say that Boomer downstairs kind of cuts you into some of the backroom games that they run out of the saloon, and this is some of the money that you would have earned in the background, essentially, as people are doing other stuff. All right.
Sick.
All right. Anyone else want to spend some money?
Yeah.
Or not spend some money, earn some money. I don't know.
He worked as the barmaid in this very bar.
Okay, so you might have some wages stashed away somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, diplomacy would be fine for This is also where lore skills come in handy for earning money, because like if
Well, I don't. I'll risk a level 2.
Okay.
Oh wait, I haven't selected a number of days. 7 days, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
hung on the 19, vote onto the 3.
So you aren't great at your job because you spend most of the time talking to customers instead of, I don't know, serving the goddamn drinks! Serve them the goddamn drinks! So you get 28 copper pieces. All right.
I'm going to do a day of labor. I have 2 ways of going about this. I have academia lore, and it just reminds me that we found that big metal cube in there, and I don't know if that could be like a job or if that's a specific encounter we need to talk about. Otherwise, I would just do like crafting. And the way Belnor does that is she used to work for a like apothecary and make it. That's how she learned how to make anti-plague stuff.
Okay.
Treating the river shiver, so she would just make up some river shiver treatments while also preparing her own treatments.
So you're only doing a day of work and then 6 days of crafting? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. I'm going to see how much money I make from this first day, because I can make an elixir of life for 3 gold, and I have 15, so...
Okay. Well, in Alkenstar, crafting is definitely a thing that everybody gets up to. So you could do, again, you could do... We'll say, well, this is a general crafting, not a lore-based one. So you could do 2 levels higher than your current level. So you go up to level 4 if you wanted to.
Okay, and what button am I pressing for this? I apologize.
So if you go to your World of Warcraft bar, there's a little folder next to it. You click on that to bring up the directory. You're going to look for Earn Income, and you're going to want to drag that back down to your World of Warcraft bar.
Gotcha.
And remember, on the World of Warcraft bar, if you click the number off to the right that has an arrow above and below it, it will expand and show you all of the buttons at once.
Okay. So you're saying I can do a level 3 because it's 2 higher?
Well, you're level 2 right now.
Oh, right.
So
right,
yeah. So you can do up 4. To level 4. Higher DC.
DC,
yeah. There's a higher chance, of course, to get a critical failure.
Crafting. This is my first one. I'm gonna go with level 3 and see how that goes.
Sure.
And earn income. Oh, now it wants me to roll. Success.
All right, so in a single day, you would have earned 5 silver pieces, kind of making and manufacturing those. So that could be reflected as, emergency money that you had stashed away in your crafter's kit, kind of deal.
Cool.
All right.
And then I'll spend some time making elixirs of life, which I understand. I'm going to figure out crafting on my own, but I think it's just like a money exchange for the most part.
So, yeah, how crafting works is... You can never to trade time for money, essentially. Yeah. So what you want to make, you still have to pay for it, or you pay for it with time.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. I'll do a little bit more research in there, and
there should be on the action bar a little thing called craft. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
And then that would be, it would show up as a downtime activity. So you make an item from raw materials. You need the alchemical crafting skill feat to create alchemical items, magical crafting to make magic items, and snare crafting to make snares. And then to craft an item, the item has to be your level or lower. An item that doesn't list a level is level 0. If the item is 9th level or higher, you must be a master in crafting. And if it's 16th level or higher, you must be legendary. You have the formula for the item. You have appropriate set of tools. Some tools can provide tool or item bonuses if they are good enough. You must supply the raw materials worth at least half the item's price up front. You always spend at least that amount of raw materials when you craft successfully. If you're in a settlement, you can usually spend currency to get the amount of raw materials you need, which you are in such a city. Except in the case of rare or precious materials. You must spend at least 4 days working. At which point you attempt to crafting check. The DM determines the DC to craft the item based on its level, rarity, and other circumstances. If your attempt to craft the item is successful, you expend the raw materials, and you can pay the remaining portion, this is important, of the item's price in materials to complete the item immediately, or you can spend additional downtime days working on it. For each additional day you spend, reduce the value of the materials you need to expend to complete the item. This is determined by a table, income earned, provided based on your proficiency rank in crafting and your own level instead of the task level. At any after any of these downtime days, you could be like, I don't have time to do this anymore, and you could pay the remaining portion in materials. So on the surface, right, this looks pretty shitty because they're basically asking you to just pay full price for the stuff, and at minimum you will always be paying half the price of something. So unless you have a lot of time to sink into crafting, it's often just easier just to buy the stuff if you can. What makes crafting very useful is if you are in a campaign in the middle of nowhere where you can't buy the stuff easily, or if the town that you're in doesn't have those items for sale, if you're in a smaller town or more rural area, if you're deep in a dungeon, if you're traveling the plains, right? So that's where kind of crafting items really kind of shines the more, right? But as we keep going, you'll see that after any of these downtime days, you can quit early and pay the remaining amount. You continue where you left off. So when you go to roll, if you get a critical success, your attempt is successful. Each additional day spent crafting reduces the materials needed to complete the items by an amount based on your level +1, which would save you some money, and your proficiency rank in crafting. Success, your attempt is successful. Each additional day spent crafting reduces the needs by an amount based on your level and your proficiency. If you fail, to complete the item, but you don't lose the raw materials. And if you critically fail, you lose 10% of the raw materials, aka the monies.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there is even a little table here. So what is your expert? I'm assuming.
I don't think I'm an expert yet.
All right, so you're trained. So that means that you would have a DC 16 at level 2, and each success would only reduce the cost by 3 silver pieces.
Rough, but that's okay. I mean, it's a 3 gold potion.
Now, something to keep in mind with consumables, you are allowed to make 4 at once.
Yes.
You can do 4 in a batch. Yep.
Is it for the price of one, or do you pay for all?
No, you still pay for everything, but you're allowed to work on 4 of them at once.
Okay. So I can make 4, which means I need 12 gold total, and I have 15. So that's okay. But I could potentially make them all for 6. If I had the time, which I don't.
Yeah. Well, you do have 7 days of wibbly wobbly time, and then the 5 days leading up to the heist. So if the group felt that you finishing these potions would be fiscally beneficial to the group, they might ask you to keep working on them while they do the scouting a route mini game to try to make the upcoming mission easier.
But as it stands, I can spend 4 days to complete them, and then I'd have 2 additional days left over from just our level up week, and I could put those 2 days, which only amounts to 6 silver if I actually achieve it, because I still have to roll for that.
Correct.
Silver. Yeah. But then from there, we just basically be buying them minus 6 silver. That's what it sounds like. Okay. So I don't know if it's worth saving 6 silver just to do the crafting.
Now, crafting the skill does have other benefits out in the world, like repairing equipment. As you've seen, equipment does get damaged. And interacting with the environment and knowledge checks. So it's not just useful for making things. Yep.
So, but what it's dawning on me, I just made 5 silver working. Like, it makes more sense that I would just work throughout the week and then buy the potions.
Generally, yeah. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But it also is like a game mechanic to kind of remind you that you are an adventurer, not a merchant, essentially. Yeah. But it's one of those things that it's kind of like paying an NPC to people to cast spells, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we do in a way by being adventurers.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of, like, you know, kind of video gamey disconnect sort of concepts, but I think as a whole it just makes the game more balanced and function.
Crafting is for when we're out in the mana waste and
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So okay. Well, thank you for taking time to help
me.
Well,
no. Everybody for the most part is new to the system and learning the stuff. So hopefully that helped everybody understand that generally, if you live in a city full of craftsmen, you could probably just buy stuff from them and do other stuff with your downtime.
And I don't have a genie ring to hide in anymore.
Correct. All right. So what do you want to do with the remaining time?
You're gonna work.
All right. So instead of crafting these potions, you're just gonna spend 6 more days working. So give me a fresh give me a fresh check on that. Anyone else that wants to work with their 7 days of downtime, this would be your chance to do it. Does anybody want to use that downtime to respec a skill or a feat?
Well, you go.
No, I was gonna ask. Do you have alchemical crafting? Are you able to make munitions?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's probably its own set of like smithing. That's probably more geared.
I think you need a formula for the munitions that you want to make, because the alchemist in the Sunset game has the recipe for something called Life Shot. Which you could just buy in the city as well. It's where you shoot people and heal them, which is kind of awesome. Yeah.
Does it affect like risky surgery?
No, it's literally just you shoot them and they get healed.
It's healing bullets and Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Life Shot is a level 2 alchemical item. It is a little expensive. When you start getting into consumables, it's going to feel real bad because you're basically throwing money at your problems. 1 Life Shot costs 5 gold.
Heals a D4.
And it only heals a D4, yeah.
I just had a very profitable week.
It's basically an elixir of life that you can apply at range.
Yeah, but I mean, it's sort of like the 5e equivalent of having like a healing word in your back pocket if you are if you're a gun user,
I mean, some guns have like very long range.
Yeah, like it's not gonna keep anybody from going down, but it's certainly gonna save someone's life at some point.
Yeah. Do you have to hit the armor class of
you do. Yeah, you do have to.
If they want to be hit by it, then they're flat-footed against it.
Or they're down on the ground dying.
Well, off guard.
But
I think so. They need to take cover.
Yeah. If anything, I think it's if anything, I think it's easier to shoot them on the ground, right?
Well, your alchemist didn't take those. I'll work on it.
No worries. There's so many options. No one can have all the things. Like it's impossible.
I picked a lot of useless, flavorful things.
They're not useless if they're fun. Now that you're through this terrible scrapyard, I'm sure things are gonna level out. It's gonna be real chill. Just some fun crime drama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at some point I can buy recipes, which is actually like, I don't know, maybe we can talk about it during downtime as maybe a potential purchase. I mean, this is a city where alchemy is common. Is there stores that sell like books of recipes?
Let's see. You can purchase formula for your book, but I do believe they are pretty priced. Okay. I will have to look that up between this game.
Not important.
Yeah. Well, it could be if you.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
But not for right now. I have what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of going back to it. I'm sorry if I ask this over again. So free class archetype that we can pick, and then we can also do one of our class feats for our level up if we got one.
Right, correct. Yep, they're 2 separate things. You get a ton of stuff at level 2. You get a ton of stuff at level 2.
It's hard to understand when you're going through Path Builder because the free archetype is a purchasable feature.
Oh, yeah, no, I just spent the $4 when I got the app. So I use this enough, but I understand you don't get the free archetype on Path Builder unless you pay for it.
Yeah, I forgot because it was like a one-time fee or something, and then
it's only one time. I thought it was a subscription. I might get it then.
Nah, yeah, it's just a one-time fee.
So then I'm going to go back to a level 1 feature and get munitions crafter.
Okay, that's totally okay.
Okay, so I think that sells it for me.
Right. And remember, not all the archetypes are multi-class archetypes. Some of them are completely unique to a particular thing that you would do. And there's like 200 of them or something.
One last question on mine. I was given society. It allows me to pick another skill because I have society. Can I just take my alchemical lore so I don't have to switch a bunch of things around?
Anytime you could take a skill, you could take a lore instead. Yep. Because lore are skills, and you just you do that. Yep. And then I think this conversation came up on the Discord. Yeah, it came on the Discord. It is lore engineering. So like if you find yourself with a skill, but you don't know what to do with that skill, it might not be bad to take lore engineering. All right.
I've been thinking about trading out stealth for a skill in the respect because I think it'd be funny for an alchemist to not have stealth because they're just covered in bottles. Like how?
Oh yeah, they're just clanking around and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until the level 5 respec, it is 7 days to change a skill or a.
Okay, so I spent the time working, so I would have need to spend.
Yeah. So right. So on your next level up, you could spend the 7 days that you get doing that. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Has everybody finished for the most part their level ups and stuff? Ready to start this year mini game?
I would just say that we should buy some those elixirs at the end of our week, and other than that, let's start the mini game.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I need to find out how much a flintlock costs.
Oh, what are you trying to buy? A flintlock, you said?
Yeah, because I threw mine on the ground.
Yeah. So a flintlock pistol is 6 gold.
Oh, are there any poisons that act like Baldur's Gate poisons that you put on your weapons?
Yes. There are poisons for weapons. I'm trying to recall if you need any sort of special feats or training for some of them.
I think there is like a skill game where it's like if you can critically fail putting poisons on your weapon and like get poisoned. At least someone explained that to me once.
Yeah, there is a check when you're applying the poison to the weapon. But yeah, you can purchase poisons, and they if they are if they have the injury tag, they are applied to weapons.
Okay. I'll be able to make use of some of those in the future, hopefully.
All right. Any other questions? All right, cool. Let's see. Copy this. And go over here. We'll change out the music. Also, congratulations on getting to level 2.
I don't think there's anything more involved in applying a poison to your weapon than just spending the actions to do so.
It's just the action? Okay. All right.
It just happens.
All right.
Okay.
For this game is special ammunition, so that life shot or other stuff, like, I don't know, if you get some weird ammo, it's always one action to change whatever is in your gun to that, and then you shoot. So, by which I mean it's an action to change to that type of ammo, and then separately you would shoot.
Mm. So one Pac-Man to swap ammunition.
Even if you have like, I don't know, a magazine of 10 shots and you're halfway through it, it's still just one action to add that one to the round or whatever, and then shoot next. Yeah, it seems applying poisons is 2 action interact.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. Some of them are more. It's always in the type of poison itself.
Oh, the
and
poison
it says how
itself.
you use
Okay,
it.
excellent.
Notice
So the
that some of
more
them are
dangerous, yeah, it seems like the more dangerous ones, because I'm looking at Wyvern poison, and it's 2 actions to apply it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then black smear poison is 3 actions to apply it.
Okay. Sounds good. So, with all of that settled, you guys now need to figure out the best way to get Vashon Gattleby out of his Steamside workshop and back to the Barrel and Bullet Saloon while avoiding gangs of mercenaries and crooked police officers.
Can't believe we're saving this asshole.
So, be pleased to see us.
Well, that's a good question. When you come up in this initiative, I will ask you what your relationship is to Vashon, if any, if you even know him, and that will kind of help us. And then also if you would share that information with the rest of the group. So go ahead and roll some initiative, and this will help us get through the upcoming days. We are going to say that the rest of the current day is a wash as you spend it resting and recuperating and all that good stuff. So we are now in the month of Erodus on a Monday. On a moon day. And here we go. All right, I'm going to roll everybody else's initiative because they took too long rolling it. Here we go. All right. And we'll begin the encounter, such as it were. Every round is 4 hours. Every 8 hours, we go to the Oh my god. Ugh. Alright, let me see. This might be better. Jeez. It's like that violin was going on my wrist. Jesus Christ. Alright. Alright, so we got some city ambiance in the background here. And...
So, I think I'm going to get 2 health potions for 6 gold. Anyone else going to go in for some?
Sure. I'll get. Wait, how much gold do I have left? I think I spent a good chunk of it.
We all got 25. If you bought the hat, it was minus 10.
Yeah, so you'd get 15 and keep the hat, or 25 if you decline the hat.
Okay, I'll keep the. I'll get 2 potions with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna save money so that I can get better armor.
Smart. Okay.
I wanted to ask about that whip.
Uh-huh.
There was something about being able to transfer the potency rune that's on this thing. How much would it cost to do that? And then how much would it be to, if anyone else doesn't want it? Actually, that's probably the first thing I want to ask. Does anyone else want the potency rune?
I almost insist that you take it.
Yeah, you do the most damage, so by all means, please take it.
It is 3.5 gold to have it transferred from the whip to your other weapons.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Is anyone else against that?
Get it, King.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got the right of it. In Pathfinder, there is very much a Voltron, I'll form the head sort of meta, where if your fighter or gunslinger is already 10% more likely to crit, why not make that 15% more likely to hit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, and it's a hard sell coming from 5e, where we all have roughly equal opportunities to, fucking drop some fat crits and be cool. In this, everyone is a team, more so than D&D, I think. And the crit that your gunslinger gets off because you helped them get better gear, you debuffed the enemy, you buffed them up, that stuff, that's a shared success. And it's something that my Tuesday group is still, I think, kind of coming around to the idea of. We're finally 9 levels in, kind of getting like, yeah, we should probably all work towards getting real big hits in rather than all trying to do different things especially in the harder fights. You'll have fights where you realize right away, oh, this is our time to just fucking unload, go crazy. If you had just fought a bunch of those gnolls, for example, right, you're one shot in all those gnolls. But then there's fights like that, the one hit through is going to be a group effort. All
the
right.
discussion I was having on the YouTube video for our last session was the best debuff I can do is death. So
yeah.
the
Well,
less
less
creatures there are, the less damage that's going to be out to
and
the rest
that
of
is
the party.
and that is what it sounds silly, but that is what fighters and gunslingers bring to a group is they can deal some big hit damage. So unless you're going up against something that is resistant to their primary damage source, they're going to be your go-to for dealing with big targets and high AC targets because they got that better accuracy to kind of land those hits. But there's going to be things that they just can't do anything about, which is where these other support classes are going to kind of come in and shine. And then out of combat, there's more, in my opinion, more opportunities for those classes to shine. And fortunately, this campaign is a nice mix. Might not seem like it so far, but it is a nice mix of combat and exploration and intrigue and stuff like that.
There's some other stuff, but like we talk about that later.
All right, so
last question.
Looks like you were able to figure out how to switch the runes around, so that's good. All right, question? Yeah.
Can I get rid of the fatigue status?
Yes, you would get rid of the fatigue status.
Thank you.
All right. So, Vulture, what do you do with the first chunk of mini game downtime?
You said, oh, it must be further up because chat stuff. Where is it? Scouting routes. I will be doing perception.
Okay. So you'll know if you succeed. Yeah, you'll know if you succeed or not. So just go ahead and roll a public DC 15 perception. And then after you see the results, you could flavor it with what you would have done that during that 4-hour block to kind of get some information. All right, so yeah, so you succeeded. So it was just like a modest success, right? So what would you have done to using perception to kind of go out and get that done?
So we know the location of our target. I think Vulture with the hat of disguise is just gonna kind of be walking around the area, getting a survey of the land, what the high ground look like, what the streets look like, kind of pinning any other types of individuals who seem to be lingering about, just doing a general stakeout.
Okay. Got it. And then tell us what happens and then roll, because sometimes the rolls are just so punishing that it's easier to then say, well, I was gonna try to do this, but then this and this happened, if the roll's bad. And then if it's really good, you can kind of explain it even better than you might have initially. All right, so that is the first 4 hours for you. Ketrin, what do you get up to?
All right, so do we feel like... I feel like I should go ahead and try and treat disease on myself.
Yeah, I was just adding these little green dots, so I would remember you guys had it. So you're gonna spend the full 8 hours. So this round and next round treating disease. Do you want to treat yourself, or are you gonna treat Bellinora?
I would treat Bellinora first.
Okay. Bellinora, that would probably take you out of the running for today.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I need to get rid of my tetanus.
All right. So, Katrin, go ahead and give me that treat disease. So I guess
Belnor is certainly not trying to avoid confronting some of her past.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. All right, that is a success against the DC of the tetanus. So, Bellinora, you will gain the benefits of treat disease success. I'll drag it over to your mini.
So,
nice.
I gotta read the language again.
So now you don't have to drink that. You could save that
Okay.
disease tonic for something else.
Well, I was gonna say though, it's like, can you stack a circumstance and an item bonus?
Oh yes, actually that's that's perfect example. You could now when it comes closer to time, drink it, and then you'll have the item bonus and the circumstance bonus.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, great. Discretion. What do you get up to in the first half of the first day?
Well, I would like to do gathering information because I'm especially suited for that.
Okay, so give me a diplomacy check. You have that feat that lets you do it faster, right?
Yeah, I do it twice
Okay.
as fast.
So I would let you roll it twice for this first 4 hours then, since you took the hobnobbler.
Yeah, it's on my background, I think. So I'll just do this as blind then, or?
No, you'll just actually this has to be blind because you could get misinformation. Yep. This is outside of the mini game, so.
Okay. Since I don't know what I'm rolling anyway, I'll just roll twice.
Okay,
sounds good. Then I'll already say what I'm trying to do, which I guess would be on one of them. I'll be trying to find out maybe patrol routes and times, that kind of stuff. Like how many guards we'll wonder about, and then maybe these other gangs that we heard are still.
Like the patrol schemes of the shield marshals would be more covered under the scouting around.
Okay.
But you would find out the general vibe of this section of town and the law essentially.
Yeah.
And then on the second request, yeah. So on the first gather information, you know that the locals are confused and worried about the increased shield marshal presence over the last couple of days, and they kind of tell you that they're never there when you need them, and now it feels like they're going out of their way to make extra routes and rounds here. That normally this area is kind of left to its own devices. And the locals are not fans of the shield marshals. This particular borough, they kind of take care of themselves. As far as gangs that are kind of active in this area, the most active in this part of town is called the powder keg punks, or the powder punks. They are known for their bright, flashy colors and bright, flashy nature. They favor bombs and explosives, but they're all very skilled gunners as well. Then there's the gilded gunners, who normally don't operate in this side of town, but they have seen some gilded gunners in the last couple of days. Kind of posting up and asking questions, kind of like the questions you're asking, one of them says. The gilded gunners are known for their gilded equipment and their fancy clothes. They all dress like they're going to church, and they like having gold teeth and gold jewelry and gilding on their gun pommels and things like that. All right, so that's what you learn with your 2 checks. All right, Bella is in the doctor's office. Stack, what do you do?
Stack, first I have a question. Was I able to successfully frame the gilded gunners for the bank by like saying their name over and over?
You would have to do a gather information to know if that succeeded or not.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Gather information.
Now, normally gather information would be a diplomacy. If you have any lore related to the criminal underworld, you could use that skill instead.
All I have is lore games.
Okay, then go ahead and give me a gather information. So this would be a hidden diplomacy check. Rounds. You get a lot of who wants to know as kind of the counter to that. And it's you end up spending most of your time trying to evade counter questioning. You do not learn what the status is of the Gilded Gunners in relation to the bank robbery. At least not with that check.
Okay.
All right.
For the mini game.
Well, that would be that was your first half of the day. Was asking around about that. Yeah. So we come around to the second half of the day, which would be Vulture, and then on the second half of the day you could do a different check than you did before, or the same check again.
Well, I am new. I'll try something different just to vary it up a bit.
Okay. I mean, you could literally just spam perception all week if you wanted to. There's no diminishing return on this challenge.
All right, you sold me. I'll do another perception because that's definitely one of my higher skills.
Ooh, okay, that is a success, but not a critical success. All right. Okay. So, and I will assume then, flavor-wise, it's more of the same, just kind of, a
little bit more the same. Probably this time, if he's able to not. Well, I guess this would be more of a stealth thing, but I guess if he's able to get more of a vantage point, kind of like mapping, looking at how the people that he's seen the first day, then seeing like if
this is still the first day. This is still the second half of the first day. Yep.
Okay. So then he's probably just watching the people that he may have seen earlier and seeing like what routes they're taking, if any of them are
okay.
Scheduled.
I got you. All right, Dr. Ketron, medicine nun, continues treating disease. Discretion slither scale. What do you do with the second half of the day?
Okay, well, I might try and just find out where on maybe at some point in the next few days I might be able to meet with someone from these powder keggers because they sound interesting.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I would say gather information to start. If you have any lore skills related to crime, criminal underworld, things like that, I would also say that this information, I'd say you'd still need the information to know who you're meeting with, because go ahead and give me, I guess, 2 for 1 with that feat. So give me the 2 checks. Okay, so with those checks, you determine that the leader of the Powder Keg Punk Gunners is Galax Nixbrix, a monkey goblin who is so flashy and so cool. He generally works for the highest bidder, and they just do, I don't want to hurt his feelings, but they do kind of like lower level mercenary crime, essentially. He has the nickname Brick Blaster because he's so good at shooting things and so good at crafting that he can just look at like an object and just know its weak spot, exactly where to place that bullet. Yeah. So then your follow-up question to that would probably be, could you meet with this guy, or should you meet with this guy, or can you meet with this guy, I'm assuming, now that you kind of have a sense of who's in charge?
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay, your second check was successful enough that when you ask around, you do get a who's asking kind of thing. And the vibe that you kind of pick up is they have been hired to find some people, and they're on the lookout, and their contacts are kind of eavesdropping and listening for information about certain individuals. Vashon Gattleby, and they kind of show you the wanted posters for you and your companions.
Do they show us a wanted poster for Vashon?
No, because he's not.
He's not wanted.
Yeah, he's not wanted. They have a reason. They have a liable cause or whatever to check his property because of the dangerous explosives that he was working with, but they are struggling to get the warrant essentially. But yeah, so that's the information that you get day one, is that Glax, Brick Blaster, Nix Bricks, and his gang have been hired to kidnap Vashon, but they are also trying to collect a bounty on the 5 of you. Okay, so that takes us to Bellanora, who's at the doctor, and then Stack to finish up the day. All right, so Stack, what do you do the second half of the day? Oh no, this is still day one. Yep, there's.
I feel like I should do something I'm better at. Maybe I could work off seeing if I could like pickpocket some keys from some guards.
Just random keys off of random guards?
Well, there's like, I mean, his house, Galby's house, I'm sure it has like some sort of like lock, or if like.
It does probably have a lock, yeah. No one's kind of gotten close enough to really get a good sense of whether you're assuming that the property is locked up tight.
Oh, I have an idea actually.
Yeah.
Do you think we could like impersonate someone and just like be like, "Oh, Galby, you're being arrested. We're taking you away now," and then just like.
Okay, that is far outside the scope of the skill challenge, but
okay.
it is a viable strategy if you were going to use that to collect him. But
actually, let's try gather information again.
Okay, you could do gather information. You could also, if you're trying to gather these preparation points, like the society skill, for example, is something where you are basically using your knowledge of the city and the social infrastructure and things like that to get a sense of like what kind of man is Gattleby, does like how is he viewed by his neighbors, like stuff like that. So but if you just want to do another gather information, you could do that as well.
Or if I could see if I could find people who knew Gattleby, I guess that'll be under gather information, and like see where he like frequents or see people like that are relatively close to him.
You could, yeah.
Eleanor blushes and looks frustrated.
Ooh, okay. So, as you go to collect this information, you find out something very scandalous about Vashon Gattleby. Apparently, he had a partner, a younger student that he was working with to develop. He sort of took her under his wing. But that pervy old man, this granny tells you at the market, that pervy old man took their relationship to the next level. It's said that her father is a powerful Ifriti lord from the desert lands, and that Vashon knocked her up, and she had to leave the academy in disgrace. And then Vashon framed her for crimes she didn't commit to save his own reputation.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
No. I shared this with the group when I find it out.
Okay.
That night.
All right. So that evening, you return back to the Barrel and Bullet Saloon. Ketrin is. Look at your collected preparation points, as they provide some information as well. With 2 preparation points, you have learned that Gattleby's house sits away from the road amid an overgrown yard full of sedum plants, which are sticky, bushy flowers. A small shed sits in front of the house facing away from the road, which is to say the door to the shed faces the house and not the road itself. The property is enclosed in a chicken wire fence. And that is kind of the general gist of the front of the property. Because of its location in the city, it just kind of butts up against the buildings next to it. So there is, from what you could tell, no back door or side door. You could, of course, Kool-Aid Man your way through the adjoining walls of the neighboring buildings or the back to gain access. Maybe there is access through the sewer or basement if there is one. But from what you could tell, there's just a single front door, front window. Window has the shutters drawn, and that's the situation. So, with all that shared knowledge, that might give you a sense of what you will do next, though we are kind of cruising into time. So, I will go ahead and we'll advance things to the next day. And then when we resume, if you did not have time to compare and contrast your notes so far on Discord, you guys can kind of like discuss like what you've learned and make a decision about what you're going to do going forward. Each time you earn more of these preparation points, you will learn a bit more useful information about the mission, while also reducing the difficulty of the mission overall. You guys do need to have him extracted before Friday morning. So you have, what, 1, 2, 3 days left of kind of preparation if you want to take the full amount of time. All right.
Purposes of my notes, who were the powder keggers led by name?
Oh, yes, they were led by a monkey goblin by the name of Galax Nixbrix. Oh. All right. So, congratulations again on getting to level 2. You have a whole week to finish up your level up. So if you, between now and next week, have like some small tweaks to your level until we start next week to make those changes, the server should stay on. If you try to log into the server and it's not booting up, just let me know and I'll make sure it's turned on so you can hop onto it. And then we'll continue this next week, working as secret agents, but black ops criminal secret agents for the government. Nice. That's plot line's never been done before, so I'm very excited about this this whole idea of like framed criminals being turned into secret agents by the government. It's very exciting.
So
any last questions before we adjourn?
We didn't wake up with our necks sore or anything like that, right?
What do you mean your neck sore? Oh yeah, because they put the little explodey
Yeah.
bits in there. Nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you all collectively decide to pull a double cross, I mean, you know, shit happens in crime dramas. Shit happens. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, pulling this off, it could put you in a good place with the Duchess. Duchess could have a lot of crimes just sort of written off, a lot of pardons written. Could get your old lives back pretty easily. All right.
Ooh, that remind me. I'll bring it up next session.
Okay. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend, and we will continue this next week.
All right. Thanks for running.
All right. Thanks.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.